Internet, and welcome to Tales of Terragia. I am your Dungeon Master and Cosmic Tour Guide, Nick Salentano, and these are 6 amazing players that are so in tune with one another. They're all going to say the same thing at the same time. Say hi, players. Hi, players. Well, it was pretty close. That was a lot closer than I was expecting.
Yeah. Good job,
Nice
everyone.
job, everyone. You too.
We really nailed it.
Yeah.
You can be just as linked up with the rest of us as we are with each other by going to @Tales of Terragia and following us at pretty much everything. So, we'll wait while you go do that real quick.
Hurry up.
Yeah.
Then
You could skip X. Nobody's on X.
Oh.
Yeah.
Last time, the second law returned to Prismari from an unintentional 4-month visit to the Feywild and wanted to get the scoop on what's been going on since you've been away all that time. You learned a little bit more about your friend Zakkai. The snake tattoo that he now bears connect him to a prominent crime family back in Scarab, a city dominated by crime and forgotten pretty much by the rest of the world, left to fester in its own chaos. Either way, your past doesn't seem to be quite ready to let you go, Zakkai. Tem had a bit of a good news, bad news day. On your home island of Zonir, the Loxodon Parade has now taken nearly full socio-political control, having recently taken drastic action in expanding its borders. Good news, however, came in the form of a gift from Emiya. You were able to use the Tapestry of Unity to see if there are indeed 2 shards of immortality out there, and one of them clearly being held in the place you know as the heart of the ocean. Harmony learned the foundation erected in her name has received quite a bit of attention and funding. You learned that your father has abandoned his world travels and pursuits to devote his full attention to evacuating Foundtown. He is no stranger to charitable work, but this does seem a bit out of character for him. You returned to Prismari, received a bit more unfortunate news. Unfortunately, your ally, Professor Veyran, Harmony's mentor professor, has been slain and after uncharacteristically attacking a student cleric. With some sleuthing, you learned the school had sent away to a professional from the Kusuriya healers to help cure her of the charm that Vampire had put on her. It seemed that she'd been making progress, but would relapse quite hard, lashing out in violent bits of magic. But the facts don't add up. The deputy headmaster had no memory of this healer from the Kusuriya. The deceased student's friends have said that the cleric was an odd woman with unorthodox methods, so a strange and peculiar murder at foot. But the second law is on the case. You did some sleuthing, interviewed a few students who knew the cleric, as well as went to Veyran's office, where you uncovered a hidden message left behind, seemingly for Kuvo. Whoever left that message also seems to be hunting for that last shard of immortality, or what they believe to be the last shard of immortality. So, second law, where to next? Or what are you up to now?
Where did we leave off?
We
Like,
left.
literally.
We just got
We just called
the students, right? You
we
guys were
spoke
talking
first
to.
to
We
the
spoke to
students.
2 of them. We spoke to Calliope and Tristan.
and we
Then we
had
just
to
called
We
call
need
the
to talk to
second.
Cassia.
I called
If we
people-
still feel like we should.
the people who did the study search said that they should meet us at the place where the last student, Cassia, is
Mm.
going to be.
Oh, okay.
And the phone call was the last thing we did.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
But I can't remember where
Oh, that's
we
right.
were going
We're gonna meet up.
for Cassia.
I
I think we found out from
From Tristan.
Tristan kind of just pointed you in
in the
Zod.
direction.
in the
Yeah, we're
direction.
leading
When
right to
we
the
called-
next to the next.
Mhm.
Because we did the call with Nik-Nak and
Yes.
Basil,
Yeah.
which then turned into
Anara Harmony.
They put
Hey,
them on.
sending
they're-
stones
Mom,
aren't as
they're asking
intuitive
for
as-
you.
Yeah, it's new technology. All right, so that we will say we met up.
Yeah, I'll say at that point you guys have kind of reconvened.
So we still need to speak to the last student?
Yeah. a Cassia Erond.
Does she sound familiar to you?
Can I?
Make
Do I
history
know
check.
her?
Any classes with her?
Let's see. Natural 20.
Got him.
Well,
You know,
I
you know
totally
this.
know her.
You know this student. You know that she is a wizard student here at Prismari, specifying in not transmutation. What's the other one? Evocation. Where you just create stuff, make things. An evocation wizard. Probably next to you, one of the more like notorious students that are known for their academic
Mm-hmm.
like achievements. So they're no
Rival.
Harvey Claremont.
That's why you know us so well.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
run in
A
this.
solid third place.
You
I know
you've crossed.
Cassia.
Johns.
Yeah, we're such good friends. She's like in all the same clubs as me, and
Oh, so a good friend of yours, I'm sure.
yeah.
Awesome. We'll let you lead the conversation.
Yeah,
Sure.
were
We
you?
get along. Yeah. No, I don't know why I would. Yeah. Whatever.
I was saying.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you, does Harmony get along with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a charisma check to find out.
Maybe
Harmony's a
I
nice
would
girl.
love to like maybe we
she's
can
not
just.
graduated though, right? So she's the year.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
She's at least a year.
She's
Yeah,
she's the
I-
harmony of her year, maybe.
Yeah, I I kind of took her under my wing a little bit. I showed her some of the robes. I told her like some of the things I've learned about some of the professors. Made sure she like got into the right classes, and tried to tell her what clubs to take.
Very, very kind, really. So,
Yeah. Well,
Sure. Sure she's very appreciative and would love to help us then.
knowledge is not a competition.
That's what I always say.
Flashback to all the conversations I've overheard of Tem and Harmony arguing over books and
Yeah.
schools.
Make an insight check real quick, just for fun.
Is this class curve?
Not great. 13.
13.
Well, what is it? Deception? Oh, it is a 15.
15.
So maybe you're not
Okay.
quite sure.
So yeah, they say that knowledge isn't a competition, learning isn't a competition. But you sure have heard Harmony and Tem speak competitively about.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Knowledge isn't competition.
I would love everyone to be really smart.
I think Tem probably
So
actually
shady.
believes that, really. Like,
Tem on one hand. It's like,
If I went to school, I probably would have gotten great grades.
Yeah, but you have like really great street smarts.
Yeah. I do. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You can really like get like lost in a crowd really well.
I stand out in a crowd when I need to.
Yeah, and you can distract people while just
On
by
purpose.
talking to them. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
really
really
good
good.
at
I'm really good at that. That's a good point. Thank
They
you.
have like gym class here, right?
you'd be great at that.
I would be good at gym class.
Gym.
Yeah, that's where you can work on like your survival skills and kind of try to get a little more nimble, flexible, strong, whatever
more.
would kind of help your fighting style, I guess.
Yeah.
Zakkai just like drops into the splits.
Just do a dip. All right, so on our way to see Cassia, your good old friend.
Yeah.
All
Did
right,
they?
cool.
Well, I don't know. Was she? I don't know. Was
Yeah,
the
we
middle of the
were
day,
told,
but-
like,
just
can't
to
remember
give
what it
directions
was.
to her like whereabouts.
And we had already informed them of the
We
message
told
we
you
found on the desk, right?
Need us though. We haven't talked yet.
That
We'll say
conversation
while
was
we're
very
walking.
Yeah,
disjointed.
okay, alright. I couldn't remember if we said over
Oh.
the phone whether we said there was the message
Yeah.
yet or if we hadn't.
Maybe we did. No.
I don't believe you
Okay.
guys told
Okay,
me about
so
that.
yeah, as we're walking.
Well, the room they said, so she should be this way, but while we're heading there, so we checked out Professor Veyran's office. They really cleaned it all out. There was nothing really to find except
Yeah, I found a secret message. It was on the desk, and I was able to scratch it with my nose, and then Harmony sketched it out and translated it.
What did it say?
Good work.
It was like Kay was going somewhere. What was it again?
it was like a note to probably Kuvo. It
Yes.
said, K took care of your loose ends on my way to the final shard, keep dry. OW. So OW is probably the Wanda or Wilma or whoever person that Professor Ogunda, was misremembering. So that's probably the person who was pretending to be a cleric that was coming in and, messing with Professor Veyran's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that sounds right.
That's a great lead.
yes, and since we also know now that there's 2 more shards left out there, and this person saying they're on their way to the final one, and for Kuvo to keep dry, we probably can assume he's headed to pursue the heart of the ocean to try and find the shard that's there. So it was a good catch. Clearly, they thought no one was going to be investigating further here, but I hope that means we can catch them off guard, since they think that they've gotten away with this.
Yeah.
If this person left a note in the office, doesn't that imply that Kuvo is going to return?
That is also
But we destroyed it.
yes.
We did, yeah.
But he'll
Right.
be here.
Should we warn the staff? He's dangerous. Right?
We definitely should.
Yeah. Don't want to cause a panic, but if we have someone we can trust to inform, that might be a good idea.
I've never really seen him mad, which is weird. But he might be upset with the whole little hijinks that we
I
pulled.
don't think that will go over well. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, maybe on our way out, we'll just find Professor Ogunda again or somebody.
Well, they have to be on high alert already. They just had one of their professors go supposedly crazy and be killed. So hopefully there's the resources
But
that
at least
they
we
will.
can give them
Yes.
more
Some-
concrete information.
Yes. That we can try and lessen the tragedy of it all by helping to prevent something else.
Maybe some of the abjuration professors can do something to keep vampires out or something like that.
Or maybe
Yeah.
maybe keep an eye on the office just to see if anyone comes by.
Yes.
We could put a bomb in the office.
No.
Ooh.
Bomb.
Yeah, he's gonna go back to the office.
Well, what if
What about?
we don't?
And then we
someone
should
else can
say-
go back to the office first.
Yes.
But
Oh.
technically, it would be effective, I think.
Well, we
Maybe.
just tape it off and
Only
say
if
"Do
you
not
go-
enter,"
Yeah.
and then he would enter.
Don't touch.
Yeah.
Maybe bomb.
And then
Well-
it's his own fault.
Works every time.
If we had enough time, we could probably go back and do something like that.
But also, do you have enough
I
time
think
to
maybe
warn
be
Professor?
faster.
At this point, I think we've gotten rid of the message, and if we let them know so that they're on alert, that's
Yeah.
probably the best that
Yeah.
we can do.
Yeah.
because-
We'll
You're
let the professors
Good thing.
worry about guarding the room.
Yeah.
We'll table the bomb idea.
Okay.
I'm sure we can
Off
use it
the
for
table.
something else.
In the table.
Under
In
the
the
table. Oh.
Dang it.
Just when you thought you could skirt that little conversation down.
Well, we were able to talk to the first 2 of the dead students' friends, Calliope and Tristan. And we got a description of this woman, tall, she was wearing white robes, and it was notable that she had an accent, speaking very strangely,
And a shaved
Shaved
head.
head.
and a shaved head.
Mm.
Well, that'll be if she wasn't disguised. If that was her
Right.
true appearance, then that's distinctive at least.
And
Yeah, there's always a chance that she was using magic to fully change her appearance, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we should be careful to trust that 100%.
Right.
Sure. One of them also noticed that the student who was killed was concerned that she didn't appear to be really trying to help.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Veyran
That
get
well, that
that,
makes sense then. If
that
she was
she would improve and then relapse and continuously go through these cycles.
Said that the methods weren't the right ones, right?
Yeah, and the student became very suspicious of that and mentioned it to her friends.
And Veyran was also talking about immortality.
Immortality,
Part of her rant.
glass blades.
She probably
And
had
glass blades.
moments of
Has anyone ever heard of the
coherence.
glass blades?
There was the
Nope.
one that
The glass blade.
Is that something here in
Harmony, you give me a history check.
Say
that was a
one.
thing that they were both talking about.
8.
8. Harmony, only because you've spent past couple years here in the dynasty. You only know the glass blades through reputation. They're essentially the military force of the dynasty. They're the emperor of the dynasty. It's not exactly like military. It's sort of like privatized police almost.
Right.
and it is incredibly like an exclusive, hard to. You can't just apply to be a glassblade. You are selected to be a glassblade. You have to prove yourself.
like
as,
alias,
a
and
really-
they find you, and they're just like, we're
They
recruiting
were,
you.
they
for
were
this question.
questioning the students,
The
and
glass blades were.
that is what they said, and they were urging them to keep quiet about what they had seen.
Then the dynasty must be aware of. You said it's an emperor.
Yes, the
Emperor.
emperor is there's like a single emperor of the dynasty, but because of the constant portals in and out of the Fae, and them welcoming in like new races, dryads, all these kind of creatures, the emperor has taken it upon himself to bridge the gap between him and these new cultures by taking a suitor of one of each new race that has sort of come in. So the
That's
emperor
nice.
has a elven wife, a dryad wife,
cool.
he has a number of all in the name of unifying
Good
the
guy.
peoples of
Great.
the Silver Dynasty.
I mean, marriage is a good way to bring people together. That's how clans and others have been brought into the fold, time immemorial. But as long as-
And Harmony, again, from being here a couple of years, you know that these marriages are primarily and publicly known to be kind of political.
Yeah. Well, if the glass blades were involved, then that means that the emperor is aware of what was happening, and I wonder if this is a bigger issue than we thought. If it's more than just Kuvo and this other person, or
It has
or
to be
if
bigger.
Kuvo and just this one other person are enough of a threat that the emperor is keeping track
It could
of
be
it.
that the person that Kubo is working for is connected. to
Yes.
them.
it could be a conspiracy.
An inside job.
Oh.
And
An
you-
outside job.
Is this emperor like nice, or is he like an asshole?
Well, they're a bit conservative here. They like to just kind of keep, just traditional magic ways, and they don't really like too much change or any innovation. But I mean, all his suitors agreed to marry him, so I don't think there's anything too bad going on there. It's all just political marriages. That's the only kind of thing that's been in the news.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
well-
as much as any one leader of an entire country can be good, then I think that the emperor's fine.
Well, if they're aware and poking around into this, we should be careful of who and what we're asking people, because
Yes,
They
when
may be
we-
watching.
When we heard this word, I did not know these were official soldiers, and they seem to be pressuring the students to keep that information to themselves. I
Mm.
wonder why that would be.
It is strange.
We should be careful.
They could be involved,
Blade
or
seemed
they
like
could
a bunch
just
of jerks.
Yeah.
they could just be wanting to
Yeah.
not spread a panic or something.
Seemed cool
well,
at first,
let's see
but
what
you seem
your
nasty.
friend has to say about things.
Yeah,
Maybe
let's
she
talk
has
about the,
some more information.
Perhaps she has extra information that we have not picked up in the meeting.
Figure
Tell
out
me what we're going to do
next steps.
With Tristan having given you directions, and now with reunited with Harmony, who knows the campus like the back of her hand, it's not too long before you're able to track down the student you're looking for. It's just like right after you sort of get there, as like a lecture is wrapping up, and it's just when like the students are starting to file out of the room that you kind of arrive. And Harmony, do you recognize Cassia coming down the steps of the lecture hall? It takes a few minutes to talk to the teacher before kind of heading out of the room.
What was the name of the student
Cassia.
that had been killed?
Oh, I actually don't have that for some reason.
That I have it.
Did I never say?
I don't think you.
I don't think I did.
Nameless student number one.
Sorry, the student.
Or
who-
maybe Ogunda said it in the whole big spiel, but I didn't write down what he
he
said
might
at
have.
the
I
time.
may have forgot though. But the student who passed away was Stefania Cole.
Definitely don't remember that.
Stephania Cole.
Known to Steph. No, or known as Steph. you see her kind of like a couple books in her arms as she's about to head out of the lecture hall.
I'm just kind of like go over so I'm not yelling too loud, just close enough. Cassia.
Oh.
Cassia.
Hi, should I want to read? Oh, I didn't think you'd still be here. I thought you graduated.
Oh, well, I did. We were just thanks. We were just coming back, stopping by, kind of checking in, and also I heard about the tragedy, obviously, of what happened to Steph, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and we know Professor Veyran, and I just now that I've graduated and this is my adventuring party.
Oh, wow. You got like a whole.
I know it happened really fast. Yeah.
And 6 of them. That's good.
And we're
Good
really
sign.
good.
Do we all strike poses?
Yes.
We're known as the second law.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, it's pretty good as opposed to the first.
Well, when the
That's right.
When the first law can't solve problems, you need a second.
Yeah.
And
Looking
it's-
after the little guy.
and that's why
You see for a moment that like she, at first, the initial kind of like talking to her is like she's like, that's a really poorly chosen name, but the more you kind of like talk about it,
Yeah.
she
it
started to be
makes
like,
sense. It makes
oh
sense.
wait a second. And there's the impressiveness. You see an elevation rise a little bit, but she kind of nods. Well,
But-
congrats, you guys are formidable. And I was hoping to get my own adventure partner. I graduated.
Definitely will.
It's hard. Everyone wants a wizard in their party, which is great, but it just means that the it's kind of saturated. So I feel like whenever I go to a party, they already have a spellcaster, they have a sorcerer, they have a bard. No offense, but it's just all hard to.
Don't always need a wizard.
Nothing wrong with more color.
You say that, and she was already sort of crestfallen, and it just dips a bit
Well,
further.
But I'm sure at some point
Yeah.
you'll find
And
a group that would love your
It'll
spells.
find you when you're not looking for it,
That's
right?
right.
Keep a lookout for like cults or something, and then just dismantle them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people
Say
don't
no
like
to
it.
cults.
Yeah, no cults.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Ask
Don't
your
worry
ask your
about it.
friends.
Don't worry, Cassie. Everyone has their own skill sets, and wizards, the breadth of spells that you can cast is far outnumbers anyone else. You'll be such a valued part of any adventuring team, I'm sure. And you just need the right one will come to you. I know.
You see, it does give a little bit of weight lift to her, a little bit of wind under her wings as she kind of like looks down at this big stack of books in her arm. That for a second there, she looked like it was pointless, and now it's like, oh, I have a point again. And she kind of
You
like
could even
clutches
make
the
a whole
books.
party only of wizards. That's never been done before.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Your options are endless. You'll be just fine.
That's a good idea. Perhaps I should talk to the other wizarding students, and we could form our own all wizard adventure
Yeah,
party.
when you come up with a name, let us know. But in the meantime, we had some questions for you.
Yeah, well, so, we are kind of trying to do a bit of our own investigation to see what happened with Professor Veyran, because we think that someone that we've kind of run into before is a really bad guy. We think that he might be related to... that he might be related to what was happening, and I heard that the glass blades were coming around, and
Oh yeah, sure.
I know they can be really intimidating, and I think that, as a student, like, I might have even maybe a little inside knowledge that they wouldn't have, and maybe we can figure this out.
Look, if you're gonna do anything about Professor Veyran and what happened to her, and Steph, whatever happened to her, please do it. The
That's what we're gonna do.
glass blades were here, and they asked a bunch of questions. The headmaster had them here for a while. They were posted around the school for the week afterwards. But they did their routine, they did their investigation, but they just chalk it up to whatever charm effect that the professor was under. But the way that Steph was talking about it, it didn't sound normal. And also, I didn't get a good feeling about that cleric that they sent over. She was keeping Steph there all hours. Steph wasn't like sleeping, but she was, very dedicated student cleric. But it was one thing for have her like there all night and there like during classes, but then she didn't show up for Dragon Chess Club. And if you knew her, that is a thing.
Gasp.
No.
She wouldn't. I'll turn to she wouldn't miss Dragon Chess Club.
No, that's when she started
It's the
missing
highlight of the
those.
week.
There was something going on, but she insisted she was fine and that it's all right. She'd make up the classes that she missed, but then she wasn't coming to class and she wasn't coming back to the dorm. She would be at the infirmary all night, every night.
Did Steph ever act really out of character aside from missing Dragon Chess Club and class? Like, did she ever kind of say anything or act any sort of way kind of similar to Professor Veyran? Do you think maybe she was affected?
No, I mean, she wasn't acting like that. I was maybe worried about that at first, that maybe it spread or something like that. But no, it wasn't. She wasn't charmed, but she would just be out all night, and then she was sleepwalking. Nothing too drastic, just, she'd get out of her dorm, her bed, and walk to the side of the room, and we'd see her standing at the other side of the room.
Is that normal?
No, she'd never sleptwalk before.
Oh.
But I just thought it was because they kept her there all night, all the time, and she was barely back at the dorm. She wasn't getting a lot of rest. I thought maybe she was just really dedicated to bringing Professor Veyran back, but there was just something weird about how she was acting.
Did
It wasn't.
her appearance change at all?
No, she looked the same.
Okay.
It was just the way she was acting, and yeah, she's an incredibly gifted student cleric, and was doing such a great job. I didn't understand. It didn't make any sense. And the lack of her own well-being and not coming to classes, not coming to the clubs. It was just odd. And once that cleric from the Kusuriya came here, she rubbed me the wrong way.
She didn't start acting that way until after the Kusuriya cleric came?
Yes. Yeah. Because she would ask Steph to watch Professor Veyran.
Right.
We thought nothing of it, and Steph was volunteering. She wanted to be there, but then it became constant. She was always there. She would miss class just to be in the infirmary.
Wait, when did the glass blades show up? Was this before Professor Veyran?
Oh no, I mean,
or after she died?
They were called the moment that she started attacking. They're pretty quick to respond. They're always.
Did they arrive at the same time as this cleric lady?
Oh no.
Afterwards.
Afterwards. The glass blades didn't arrive until the actual attack.
And you said they did an investigation. It went nowhere. They just left.
Well, not nowhere. They just said the investigation was a open and closed case. The professor was being charmed by a malicious force, and it commanded her to do things that she wouldn't normally have done. And the staff responded in self-defense. Case closed.
Did they try to investigate what they thought was the suspicious force at all, or they just kind of left it there and stopped?
Well, left it there and stopped once Professor Veyran was gone. That sort of ended the thing they could investigate.
And who was it that actually did end up doing the deed against Professor Veyran?
I was one or two of the
What are you asking?
one or two of the staff members.
And do you remember which staff members it was that had to unfortunately deal with that?
No, I wasn't there.
Did you ever see this other cleric,
The one from the
that came
Kusuriya?
in? Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of times. When she would come to the dorm and Steph would go with her to the infirmary, only once or twice. Yeah, strange lady. Tall, bald, wore white,
Yeah.
spoke kind of funny.
Do you know where Steph's room might be? And is any of her stuff still around?
It was our room. That was our dorm.
Yeah.
She was one of my dorm mates. If you wanted to come to the room.
Do you think maybe we could look around?
Did her family come and pick up?
I mean, yes. If you're looking for any of her things, they're not here.
Oh, no. Never mind then.
I want to make a
Yeah, just in case there's anything.
Did she leave any have a journal or notebooks or anything or leave any notes or something like that?
Not exactly. Harmony will persuade you.
How much did you snoop on your roomie?
Ooh, yes. 27.
Damn.
How
Persuasion
much did you
is
snoop
my
on your
best-
roomie?
Oh wait, 28.
Crazy.
That's the difference.
When you
DC was 20.
DC was 29, so.
when you I ask about like her journal or notes, and she sort of like waves that off, but it sparks just something from her that she may have, Cassie may not have like given up without being inspired by you to do this. So, she didn't. I mean, any of her books and notes and stuff were taken by our family, but I did keep a couple of things. I don't know if I can go get to the back to the dorm and give them to you, but I don't know if it's gonna make much sense. I got her notes from when she was looking after Professor Veyran, which I assumed would be medical or magical in nature, but it was mostly just a lot of little doodles and squiggly lines.
Interesting.
And not even like I thought maybe it was like a secret or a message or something, and I used detect magic, I used comprehend languages, but there was nothing. It was just a piece of paper with doodles and scribbles on it, and those were her medical notes. But there was no hidden message. There's no illusory script. There's no nothing. And she's running through all the spells. Her like wizardness is showing.
Yeah.
Very
And I'm
full
like,
force.
yeah.
She like runs through all these different spells and methods that she would have tried, but I know
It sounds like you did everything you could.
I did, and that's the only reason why I kept those notes, because it was so strange.
Have a copy of them.
Yeah,
in the
maybe.
dorm, I can grab them for you.
Maybe we could take a look at what you do have left from her and see if we recognize anything. I mean,
Just hold on to it.
Sure. Whatever you can. I mean, I'd do something myself if I weren't still in class, but
and that's, you should focus on your grades, obviously, and make sure you graduate, and that's why we're here. We'll take over, and you can trust us to do everything we can to figure out what happened.
right, because the first law didn't.
That's
Yes.
right.
Exactly.
Now you've got it.
I got it.
Thank you. You've been very, very helpful.
Sure.
Well, where do you need to go next? We can walk part of the way with you, so you don't have to
Okay, yeah.
go all the way up and come back, and we'll just kind of like go with her.
Yeah,
to the room,
I'll
I
carry
guess.
your books too. I'll just like take them there, just
Yeah.
It's a lot. But yeah, for the sake of time, she does take you back to her dorm and gives you like a small stack, only 3 or 4 papers that she like gives to you. And indeed, it's just it looks very much like fake movie note taking, where it's just as if someone took a pen and was like, and it's just little wavy lines and little doodles in the margins and stuff. And it's just 3 pages of that front and back that she kind of hands out to you.
And there's no like familiar looking like symbols or anything that matches like
No,
anything
it's-
we've seen before.
It's barely
Literally
even
just-
symbols. It's
oh,
just
okay.
Like fake notes.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
squiggles.
Yeah. It's like
So it
movie
doesn't have
cursing.
any, like structure as if it's a code of some kind, or
Yeah, if I glance at it, it doesn't look like code, like something that I might pick up with like a
No.
piece can or...
Because which again, it's what you're assuming, and which is the strange part, is that you're expecting thieves' candy.
Right.
Nothing there. You're expecting illusory script. Nothing there. You're expecting
Is it-
a note or any kind of organization.
Is it just ink?
It's like she wasn't paying attention at all.
Or
That's
It's-
what I thought.
like maybe
What if she was
was
under
dirty.
mind
That's
control
what
as
I was
well?
thinking.
To just kind of, maybe not to do anything harmful, but to just
be there.
to be there because
Act
as a
normal.
student cleric she had to be, but maybe this other cleric that came from the Kusuriya I don't think she's actually from the Kusuriya. But we need to keep investigating, but I think she must have been the one that was actually doing the mind control on Professor Veyran and maybe on Steph also. If obviously
That's what Tristan thought.
yeah. Well, is it okay if we hold on to these just in case
Yeah, sure.
maybe at some point they might come in handy or
Thank you.
Yeah, you can take them. Whatever helps.
okay.
Well,
Is there anything
second
else?
law, we're gonna do what we can.
Alright.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, and I hand her a stack of books. And with my 5 strength check, it is a significantly less pile of books than when it started. So there's like a trail of books just like behind us as we went along the way.
She's like holds out her arms expecting the stack, and
It's just like 3 books left.
oh,
You're welcome.
Oh,
You
I'll
might
just, like,
want to retrace your
run back
steps.
down the hall, just like click, 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 click,
she
back down the
quickly
hall.
casts locate objects.
Yeah.
See?
Thanks. Just start walking away.
She like her attention goes to like the window and then back out to the
Hey,
quad.
he tried.
Thanks. If I'm gonna make it to my divination class, I better go get it. She quickly like takes off down the hallway.
Nice to meet you.
Up to it.
Well,
He tried.
yes.
He tried.
I'm with you. I think she must have been under some control.
both of them.
Yeah.
Especially the sleepwalking also
I
confirmed
thought that was strange too.
that
Yeah.
there was some sort of
What would be the purpose of, unless maybe it's easier to kind of keep someone under, the thrall of magic if you deprive them of sleep, or if you, I don't know, just
Make them exhausted?
exhaust them by waking them up, or
whatever it was probably to keep up the appearances of this
Right.
treatment happening,
Yeah.
not to be investigated, and for them to not arise any suspicions as they're
Yeah.
doing what they were
Yeah.
doing.
Especially if Steph was the only one there at certain times, then she could have casted whatever spell she wanted.
Right.
yeah. Do you think we should even go to the Kusuriya I don't think this person was actually a cleric. They would probably just say that they have no record of who that is and don't know what we're talking about.
Well, you're
That's-
assuming that
That's a good point though.
they would know that there was going to be an investigation. Perhaps they feel that they've covered their tracks. So I
The
don't think it is
Kusuriya?
a completely lost cause to see if we can search someone that fits this description. Sometimes the greatest gift you get is that your enemies are not as smart as you think they are.
I
They were
guess
clearly confident that they were going to be able to pull off whatever it
They
was
left a
they
note,
did.
an
Yes.
illusory script right in
yes,
So dumb.
but
the study.
Unless
then it
that's
said
what
that they
want
went
us
off
to
to
think.
find the next shard of immortality. So I don't think they would still be in the Kusuriya for us to see if they were.
Well, we don't know that this woman who was the cleric is part of that particular.
Unless she was imitating
Mission.
someone who actually does look like that.
She could have stolen someone's identity.
But
But then if
It's
we
a
find a
crime.
person whose identity they stole, then we can perhaps learn why.
Well, I do think it might at least behoove us looking into it a little bit, but we should still. What's the chancellor's name that we talked to that was gave us the information about Veyran? I
the
forget.
guy in the hallway,
Yeah, the guy in the
Agunda,
hallway.
Professor
Agunda.
Agunda.
We should maybe just let Professor Agunda know about the security risk that there might be to the school still.
Yeah.
Just and this is not really related, but do you know why they're called the glass blades?
Give me another history check.
I have a sneaking suspicion.
Does that make him really strong or really weak?
23.
23. They wield blades made out of elven glass, which is apparently stronger than steel
There you
and is very light.
Yeah, it's
Special standard
it's
issue.
more just a literal name. It's just their special blades that they
These are
have.
the weapons.
Elven glass,
Okay.
yeah.
That
But-
makes sense. Well, I mean, I think this is at least one lead, and unless we have other specific ones, what else do we follow at this point?
Right. In terms of bigger picture, we know that they're still after the other shards of immortality. So
Right.
we could
I guess at the end of the day, does it matter if we put the pieces together of whether they actually came from the Kusuriya or not, or who they were pretending to be, or how exactly they mind controlled everybody? If they ran off to go get the next shard, is that more important?
Yeah.
That we go try to stop either this person or Kuvo from getting the next shard?
Yeah, we should try to get a step ahead.
That might be the, I hate to say it, but
We
that
are a
might be
step
the bigger
ahead. We
picture.
have one of the shards ourselves, and
That's
they think
true.
they have it.
It's true.
They think
But-
they're going for the last shard, and they're not. So we have time.
But
But if they
this is
have
the
it,
only
we
time
don't.
that we'll know where they're going to be. At least one of them we
Yeah.
can catch.
And we could beat them there if Kuvo is still getting back
Yeah,
to
he
the
could be
Feywild.
stuck.
So we have an advantage to act now.
In your dream, with your goddess, did you happen to get a look at where the other location of the shard was?
It went over land. There was the one out at sea, and what we can safely assume now is the heart of the ocean that we've been reading about. It's in the same general location that I saw marked on the map. You know, we have that kind of
Could you
at
do-
least heading, but I don't know where the other one specifically was.
Could you do like a general direction on the map?
Yeah, I think I figured out it was like generally like northeast-ish. Yeah, towards the northeast. Don't know how far in that direction, but it was basically the opposite direction from the other one.
Does northeast sound like the location in what's the word? Orientation of where the one in the bag would be.
Northeast from where?
Well,
Like if
I
I
mean-
can
well,
Yeah.
you
sure.
know,
I might
Put it on the map.
I have a lot of maps.
Yeah.
and,
Sorry,
I'm like under all of that. You know, it was a bit abstract. The tapestry of unity isn't an exact one-to-one in terms of the world here, but yeah, generally, like, and I would point out and whatever that lines up with what Nik-Nak is kind of saying, I guess.
Okay. So there might only be the two. And we
Oh.
have one.
Oh.
If northeast is where I think northeast is going.
Is that where we had sent
Is
our
that where
shard?
it is?
So
Can
then it's
you,
So it might be broken in half.
or
so then
there's
they might
two of
both
them,
be
only two.
well, then they might both be headed to the heart of the ocean. If this person said, going after this one, stay dry, maybe the message was like, we'll meet there.
I think it seems
Maybe.
like Kuvo's going to the ocean and this other person's going somewhere else to get the
Oh,
last
that
one.
they might have figured out where it is.
I mean, I think
How would they know?
They can't.
there's
know.
magic that can.
If they
Is
know.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
No.
well, Kuvo.
No, it's
No.
hidden. It's hidden.
Yeah.
Can you
But
ask
it's-
for it back?
Sure. Yeah, I can ask. Do
Maybe
you
we
want to
should
carry it
put
around?
it
It's
somewhere
probably
else.
too deep
I don't-
underground to be seen.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Is there?
Would I know if a locate object spell could penetrate where it is located right now?
Roll an intelligence check at your proficiency bonus.
I guess like similarly, I was gonna ask like, is there magic that could track it, even though like locate object as like a lower level spell has a distance limit, but like some sort of scry or some way to like divination wise to like, it's not safe where it is. Like there is magic that could tell them where it is, even if it's across the continent.
Roll an arcana check.
You said intelligence?
Yeah.
18.
Dirty.
Harmony, you're aware that there are like certain divination spells like scry and stuff like that could locate things from great distances. However, you're aware that at least in like modern day magic, everything, even those kind of spells, have distance or limits. Like for example, you can't even like do scry. You can scry across the entire plane, but not through like an inch of lead.
Right.
So it's kind of up in the air. Kind of same answer for you, if only because where you sense it is underground and may or may not, you aren't quite sure, may be through a certain amount of lead.
Right.
Well,
It's fortified.
Yeah,
You know,
it's probably in the thing.
there's protections.
Well,
Oh.
you
Yes, indeed.
sent so much metal there.
At least it's bigger than an inch.
Yeah. Could you just tell them to make sure that it's in like a lead box?
Sure. Yeah, they
Like,
definitely got lead.
Okay.
Maybe you could put it in my old lunchbox.
You have a lead
I've been
lunch.
telling you to maybe get a new one.
That explains why. I
That's
don't
why
think
one
those are-
pupil is one size and the other one is really
Remember when
big.
you could see
Those aren't
orange?
allowed on the material plane anymore.
You chalk it up to like him being from the Fae, but it might be now that you know, it might have been Basil's lead lunchbox.
Yeah.
And lays it the way he is.
Well, in that case,
Why don't you
yeah,
give me a lead lunchbox?
let's tell them to
Sure,
put it in
yeah.
the lead lunchbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
I'll
fortify it.
I'll start writing a note right now, being
But
like,
in the meantime, we at least know that this part of the ocean is a direction we can move.
That is
Yeah.
for sure. I feel very confident that is where all of these signs have been leading. The map that I saw that was knitted in Foundtown, the chart that I had seen in the libraries here, it seems to be the most solid piece of evidence that we have, at least for the next lead.
Okay, so well, I'd rather we have it than they have it.
Well, they, I think, at least have some idea with the state
And,
drop.
and a head start. So
Speaking of Foundtown, should we try to get over there and see what happens? And see what maybe Harmony's dad is doing over there?
oh yeah, there's that
Well,
too.
that is very curious. I just, similar to going to the Kusuriya to ask questions, I just don't want to get too sidetracked. I think
yeah, I think we have.
leading Kuvo to the shard again might.
The Kusuriya is in this town that we're in right now. Is that right?
Mm,
Do we really want to leave when there's a lead right here adjacent to us that may take just a few hours to check out?
yeah, we can
How
we
we
can
get into
go.
the
I
heart
just
of the ocean? Does anyone have a boat?
well,
We're gonna need at least a bigger one.
No,
We're gonna need a big
Not-
boat.
I don't have a boat here.
So
Well, we
I
could
just think it would be a
hire
mistake
a
not to
boat.
follow a local lead, take a couple hours
Water's not
while
my
we're
specialty.
figuring out how we're getting to the middle of the fucking ocean.
I agree.
Okay, well,
Cover my ears from the light.
yeah,
it seems
let's.
like it could be an easy miss if we just leave.
No, we should wrap up any loose ends we can here
How long
first.
could it take to just
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, could be right.
No,
Could be disguised.
I-
Could be a complete red herring.
At
It'll
least we
take us
can-
2 hours to find out.
and at least
Okay.
we can
Let's go there
eliminate
now.
some of
Let's
the
go.
possibilities.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's across town that way, so
But in the meantime, we should also start thinking about how are we going to get to the middle of the ocean.
Well, like I said, I don't have a boat here,
Okay,
but
so-
if there is the possibility of us maybe getting towards my homeland, I could pull some strings there for
Is your
sea
homeland
travel.
on this continent?
It's also on an island, so we
That
would
also
need a
is
boat to
very
get there.
far
We need
away.
a boat for a boat.
it's honestly much
We need a
easier
boat
to
to get a
just
boat?
use money to buy a boat.
That's true.
Yeah,
to hire a boat.
There's a lot of water out near these parts, right? So we're
Yes.
gonna see surrounded by
Yes.
water.
Yeah,
We'll find
magic
passage.
magic does a
We'll
lot.
find
Cleverness
passage.
does a lot.
Magic
Money
is
does a
the
lot
heart of the
too.
ocean. It's in the middle of where all the ocean is.
Yeah.
So there's a
And
lot
we'll
of
need a
water.
crew.
Well,
we'll need people to.
but-
Well, as we're walking, we're
we'll be
probably
making
gonna
our
need
way.
it. You know, there's lots
We're
of
gonna need
pieces
rope.
to put together.
Lots of
a
rope.
lot of rope.
I have some soap.
Basil's sparks
I
are
gave you
just gonna be
rope.
like fizzing out.
Pickles and eggs.
You still have it?
Mountain too much going on, like trying to do like the equations.
You got your protein,
It's like
you got
keeps fizzling out.
Pickled
every
food
time.
is good. It has a lot of. We'll need
Lemons.
oranges. Oh well, or oranges.
Carrots.
Yeah. Vitamins. Yeah.
Good for your eyes.
Good for your eyes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. We could
Got all
ask.
the food groups.
We could ask them at the Kusuriya what they recommend we take on a long
Kusuriya.
sea journey.
Yes.
Well, and if we make our way to a harbor, I can maybe see if I can find some leads. My homeland is just a bit of ways by sea from here, so there may still be some connections that I might be able to leverage.
Okay, great.
Your journey through Yokai to the Kusuriya is a good reminder of just how big and massive this city of Yokai is. From what people describe,
It's just over there.
I mean, the Kusuriya isn't too far. Luckily, Prismari, being a big, like magic school, is pretty central to the city. But from what you've heard, it could take you more than a day to walk from one side of Yokai to the other. It's a massive, sprawl place, massive city. And each part, it's all divided up into different districts. It's a big quilt of different little
Did
neighborhoods.
someone say quilt?
Sorry, Tim, I didn't mean to trigger. The districts drastically differ from each other, taking on strong and unique personalities. You pass through working class districts where you see elven artisans crafting beautiful woodwork, a whole outdoor courtyard where almost a dozen glass blowers are crafting these like little elven forges, pulling and molten glass into different shapes with their bare hands before like rapidly cools. They see they have like enchantments on their hands to do this. Traveling through the city, it's a big city. Lots of stuff happens here. Just because I'm gonna roll a d6 for you.
I'll do it.
3.
Nice name.
Maybe good like 20 minutes into the walk when you're out in the middle of the city, at one point, Tem, make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Okay.
Come on, big guy.
We'll see.
You got it, big ears.
17.
17.
Respectable.
You can point him out from his hooves.
It misses your head, but it doesn't hit you. At one point, as you're walking through the city, you feel a sudden impact, squishy and wet, hit you on the back in your shoulder as a tomato explodes against your shoulder, and you hear a small group of small hadozi, little kind of primate-looking peoples, shouting and jeering at you as they throw little vegetables and stuff towards that in your general direction.
Hey, what?
Whoa!
Hey, down, rock, sit down, go!
Can I try to
Hey, get out of
slide
here!
the tomatoes away in the air just to like
Whoa,
make
whoa, calm down.
fruit ninja?
Everyone calm.
Unprestidigitation your like clothes and like.
Thank you, Harmony. Everyone calm down.
That's not nice.
Hey, listen, I understand you're upset. I
A lot of
swear.
people don't have a home because of you.
Well,
Hey, not because of him. He didn't do anything.
I'm sorry. Well,
Sorry.
What
But I
are
like
they-
to see you.
no.
What are they talking
It
about?
is because of me. I'm sorry. I can't imagine what you're going through right now. I really, really don't wish what was happening was going on.
What are you talking about?
It's a very complex situation, but suffice to say,
This big old
These
ivory
people-
faces family's kicking our family out of our homes,
Well, that's no reason to waste tomatoes like that.
Wait,
killing our people.
Tim, is that true?
It's not.
well,
It's not our friend Tam. Maybe.
that's why he
Well-
left. Probably.
it's as
He would
good.
never do that.
It's as good as me. It is as good as me.
But it's
Tam,
not.
you. It's not you.
Yeah, you didn't do that. You've been with us the whole time.
Well, I kind of want to hear what's going on.
Well, like I said, it's complicated, but I have, let's say, a vested interest or at least connections to the direct people who were doing these terrible things.
In the meantime, throw one more tomato and I'll chop your head.
It was no harm, no foul. I'm not trying to cause a scene here. We are simply trying to get from one side of the city to the other.
You should get out of the city is what you should do before you take this one.
You should go home to your parents.
Would if we had one.
It's
That's horrible.
It's really bad. I'm very, very sorry. There's not anything I can do to make this right, but I'm trying very hard.
That's right, you can't. And they throw a couple more things at you before they.
I think I just,
Oh,
there's no,
Just to hit them out.
there's
Yeah.
nothing that we can do for this right now. I'm just gonna like put my like cloak up a little bit, so we should just move on.
Let's skedaddle.
Run off and I mean they're primates. They start climbing up lampposts and kind of disappear over the road.
Go home and toss Sally.
I'm sorry about that. I was dreading eventually something like that happening, but
What do they mean?
Just a direct result of things that you yourself have done. Perhaps people you know, but
well, not me personally, but my family. The area that I come from is going through a bit of a change right now, and for some, it seems positive, but for many others, it is not something that is a pleasant experience. And from what I read recently, there's been some more developments, and those folk, those Hadozi, have been at the brunt of that change.
They said they were killing them?
It's complicated. My people are not they're not a necessarily violent people, but violence takes many forms. That does not always include direct physical harm.
not like tomatoes.
Well, or more so just a cleansing of cultures. And
That doesn't sound like a
So,
good
so
thing.
sounds like clearing the board.
I'm sure that's why you left your family. I mean, you can't choose your family, and
Well, left
it's
is
not your fault if you have a shitty family.
left is a Have you heard of lying by omission? They may still think that I am on good terms with the family. I haven't really spoken to them since I left for school, and they don't exactly know what I'm up to. I've been doing some exploration. Obviously, when I first met all of you, we were all gathered together in Port Elsewhere, and I've been recently, coming into my own as a cleric of Emiya and finding my way in this world. They don't really look too kindly on that. There's not a lot that my family and my people see as worthwhile about learning about others. They think that their way is best, and they know, and that's why everyone should be following that way. And they will ensure that by almost whatever means necessary. So.
But you disagree with this.
Oh, vehemently, of course. Yes, this is not something. I mean, it's hard when you're raised a certain way. You don't know any different. It's just the way that the world works.
But now you disagree, and you're changing yourself and bettering yourself, and you don't agree with them. So we're not going to judge you for whatever your family's doing. We can just work to stop it.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe we can come back one day and you can tell them to stop it.
Well, that's the goal. That's really why I think Emiya sought me out, why it was fated to be. She's the goddess of unity, a goddess of togetherness and peace. And I think she saw what was happening with my people and those surrounding them, and she wants to see a change in the world for the better for that. And I agree, and hopefully one day I can see a lot of the mistakes that my family has made rectified, because clearly it has harmed many people, and I do feel personally responsible for it, unfortunately.
Well, you shouldn't feel that personally responsible. You're not making them act this way, and you're going to, and we'll help you. We're going to work to stop them. So
well, I think
we'll do as much as we can.
I think it might be actually an even more interesting situation at the heart of the ocean, because there is an artifact of Emiya's that has been lost to time, but that might be helpful in these situations. It's kind of what I was on the lead for in Port Elsewhere, what I've been traveling around trying to figure out, and I've kept one of my ears to the ground about it, but haven't had too much lead until now with the heart of the ocean and this collection of artifacts. But there's a weaver's loom that was sacred to Emiya called the Kindred Weft, and it is something that has supposedly mythical powers to bring people together and to solve differences.
That sounds perfect.
Well, if it's real, if it exists, yes, of course. But
most things in myth have some root in actual history, so and there's magic everywhere. We have magic items ourselves.
Yes. And Emiya showed me this vision of this place, and it seems to be this trajectory seems to be the right one. So
yeah. I think you should trust your goddess.
Yeah, and I just feel so terrible for all the people that have been hurt by this. It keeps me up at night, and not knowing exactly what to do about it. But I'm going to try my best. And anytime something like this happens again, please just don't let it. It's fine. And I'm a little used to being stared at by some and despised by others. So.
It is fine perhaps for them to throw tomatoes at you, but if they miss and hit me, then that is not going to go well for them.
Well, that would be on that.
Good boot to the head.
That
Will
would.
it will at least help keep your cloak clean.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. This is
As long
Very
as
very precious to me.
That's like, oh, it's like soup.
as long as you're gonna help them eventually.
Of course.
It's, it's wrong what's happening.
It's my family is never easy, as I'm sure many of us know. But to be actively working against them, these were the people who raised me, who I loved for so long and still have complicated feelings about. But I can't stand for any of those things that they've been doing. So
change is scary at first. It took me a while to get used to my leg, but now I'm real thankful for it. Change should be good, you know. Magic and metal stuff, it's kind of neat, and we've been able to do real good stuff with it. So
Yeah, that's right.
so maybe you can change your parents' mind and make some good happen.
Yeah, you know, I got some members of my clutch that do not agree at all with what I'm trying to do. And you know what I say? Fuck them.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
throw a bomb at 'em.
there's always the well, don't you don't want to perpetuate the cycle of violence, but
You know.
Well,
but a metaphorical fuck them maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
metaphorically.
like, you know, for your own sanity, for now.
It's hard to fully commit to something that you know will end in strife for someone. But yeah, I guess. Fuck them.
As you continue talking, don't worry, but another d6 for me, please.
How many tomatoes?
As we continue our journey,
Mhm.
I will be scanning the environment for
Into
tomato
those.
wielding.
3, by the way.
3.
Some fruit monk.
Attempting to anticipate the next attack.
It is disappointing for multiple reasons for you. You don't see any more of those, but you do, with a high enough passive perception, pick up on something you are unfortunately familiar with. As you start reaching to a certain part of town, there's a hint of something on the air, a familiar sulfurous, burning kind of smell.
Okay. Before
Well,
anyone
well,
else
well.
notices, I'll be like, okay, just so you all know,
Are you okay?
I'm fine, but Kiln's here.
Kim!
Oh.
You say that
Yeah.
from about 20 feet away. What? Like lost, like through a crowd, you hear a voice.
What are you doing here?
You know, just
Sorry.
outside.
Took me by surprise.
Oh, his little friend. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
his
Oh, I thought I smelled something.
Did you bring Mork?
I wonder if he had
You sure-
he has his little bonus.
I thought I
my
smelled
daughter's
something.
right.
Well, that's a nice little. That's a nice little lift.
You see that kind of through the crowd parts, now that you're shouting through
Yeah.
them, eventually you see there's a large kind of covered wagon being loaded with boxes, crates, bags, and some of that by these small, about the size of Nik-Nak, who like slightly taller than you. They Arena, they look like little hedgehog people. They're just like little, clearly immigrants from the Feywild over to this plane. But they seem to be loading up a covered wagon with a bunch of boxes and stuff, and you see Kiln leaning up against that wagon, just kind of waiting. He looks to be looking over at them. He sees that they're still working, and then just continues to wait.
It looks like he's hired them, maybe.
It looks
They're
like
working for him.
no, it looks like Kiln might be working for them.
Oh,
Where
interesting. So like a guard or something.
he looks to be like the security for this little band. But he like sees you and he pushes off the cart and he tries to like take a step towards you. But before even that, a cloud kind of like whooshes across the ground and suddenly solidifies into a little volcanic little lizard creature, pink bonnet, tightly tied around his head. As he kind of like scampers up to you guys and looks up at you, big tail wagging back and forth.
Swings on my
Scorching
shoulder.
Oh,
Swings on my
buddy.
shoulder.
Oh,
Like, he's kind of like usually hisses, but it's like, I don't remember this.
There's
There's
a bit more familiar.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I'm glad your bonnet's made it through.
I just like spin my lyre around to the front real quick and kind of like strum the strings and then like create this like it's like a little music book that in the air like kind of just made of like whatever magic-y looking thing and then it opens and Piccolo jumps out.
So it like goes in the air, hangs in the air for a moment before kind of like landing. Piccolo is now in your character sheet, by the way, in your extras. But kind of like lands a little bit, and it's definitely kind of like new cat versus like old like household cat or new dog and old dog meeting for the first time, where they're just it's sort of like a standoff between Mork and Piccolo for a moment. But there's like a weird like they like get closer and closer and closer to each other, where it's like nose to nose,
The
little
tension.
bit, before kind of like more kind of like sniffs and gives like almost like a confused look before kind of turning back into smoke and whooshing back across the floor, up and then onto Kiln's shoulder.
Pretty good for a first meeting. Hopefully you guys can be friends. Well, come here. And like, I'll just like, I don't know, have him wherever he ends up kind of, whatever his like place to sit.
Yeah, where Piccolo sits here.
Yeah.
I'll say that he's, because you have the lyre usually around on the
Yeah.
back. He'll use kind of like the lyre
He'll
as
just
a little
kinda
perch.
hook on it.
Hooks onto it.
Okay.
But by that time, Kiln walks up to you. Don't get too offended if he's not crazy about your little guy there. We've tried to get far away from stuff from the hells, not closer to it. But thanks.
Well, I think a first meeting went pretty well.
I'm glad to see,
About as well as ours did, I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm glad to see he still has his bonnet. Do you need a backup?
He kind of won't take it off.
Great. I'll make you a backup.
What are you doing?
What you up to?
Yeah, what's up, hot stuff?
Well,
Hi, he's on.
I'm helping.
Hey, touch him, I did.
I get it.
Thank you, Tim.
He kind of like gestures to the little arena people. This is the Sprinkles family. They're traders, and they're headed out to.
Oh my gosh,
Where are they?
they're fascinating.
This paying you good?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no jobs out here. I came out here and I figured once we parted ways, you guys would do your school stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, new city, new place. Well, there's not a lot of shit to do out here. It was Glass Blades kind of take care of everything. There's not a lot of bounty work, so I figured head back to.
5 months?
Wait,
This is the best job you got?
I've got a couple of other jobs. This is just the latest one, and I'm guarding these little guys as they head back to Port Kazushi, and from there I'll get it.
That's good.
Wait, did you talk to the Glass Blades?
No.
I'm
Oh.
sure he probably tries to stay away from them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he
I
just
thought you
saying
just-
that they
Oh,
Straight
they
got-
secure
Sherry's
Oh.
got quite the rap sheet.
So freelancers are not welcome.
These are the sparkles?
There's not a lot of
Yeah, the
extra
Sprinkles.
crime to solve.
Sledge is like worrying.
Oh yeah, Sledge of me like just rolls up to them and just kind of like stares. When you see one like a older woman, one carrying like a potted plants, like walking up and putting the plants on the cart, and he turns around and immediately met with Sledge right there. Oh, does this belong to someone?
He's mine. He's just curious.
And they kind of they seem to be pretty like focused on the cart loading it up, but they kind of keep going around. And pretty much everyone, including their own family members and everyone around, gets like a wide berth as like they're turning leg. Do you have that yet? Yeah. But every time they turn, giant spines swing around on their back, and
So
Kill
you're
has to kind of like
headed
lean.
with them to wherever you headed, Kill.
Port Kazushi. It's like the port town west of here. East of here, hoping to get passage back to Abbotball after that.
Interesting.
Where?
Where are you guys up to? It's been a while.
Well, we will be also, I think,
Well,
seeking
it's
a
not been
ship
that
at some
long
point.
for us.
Yeah, we're thinking about heading out soon as well, too, potentially by sea.
When are you,
Set
when are
and
you
see.
disembarking?
Oh, I mean, these little guys want to leave first light.
Gives us a day.
Well, we have just a quick errand to run still while we're in town, but maybe a caravan might be a safe
Could be
way
a safe way to travel.
to get out. And if they need extra hands, while they're on their way to the port, we probably will.
Well, no advertising that you're gonna protect them or nothing. I already locked that deal in.
And I'm sure you're doing a great job.
They're alive, aren't they?
For the moment.
What are they smuggling?
All ears.
They're not smuggling. They're just traders.
What are they trading?
Yeah, what did they trade in?
Yeah,
Taking notes.
Do they need help moving stuff?
I don't know.
Basil,
I'm not hired to move stuff.
But they're from the Fae.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know.
We do have
Sorry.
some maybe.
Yeah,
You didn't ask
we just
any
have a
questions,
little
I
line.
guess.
If they're leaving tomorrow, perhaps we can get
yes.
a ride on the same boat.
I think that if we can at least get to the port town and with alongside them, that might be a great way to figure out our next steps.
I agree.
Yeah,
So
that sounds
So,
like a good plan.
when are your friends here hitting the road tomorrow?
First light
First night?
should be in
We can do
Port
that.
Kazushi in a week.
Early.
Because if she's a week away.
And they got wheels, so it'll less if we hoof it.
I mean, it takes the time it takes, unless we have magical means. Might as well leave with the group.
I thought you guys did have magical means. That's how we got out of the forest.
It was
So
kind of
one
way.
Yeah, you know.
One time.
We can catch
Now that I've graduated, there's only so much I can keep going back to my alma mater asking for favors before they start asking for them in return. So
Gotta say, it's kind of nice seeing you guys without all the answers. Kind of refreshing.
Well, we're
Means
looking.
you're normal.
We're
Well,
looking
I
for
wouldn't say
them.
that
We're
we don't
in
have the
process.
answers.
They are coming.
Yeah,
The
we'll get
answers
there.
are
Just that
coming. We're
we
trying
have
to
the
figure
answers.
it out.
We just also need to walk.
Yeah, and
It's good for you. It's
you
good to
know,
walk.
We
there's
just don't know
some
the questions
there's some
yet.
yeah, there's some questions that we're figuring out.
Alright.
But we'll run that
Okay,
errand.
further
Are you
progress.
you'll be here?
Yeah, this yellow gestures like the building behind the car. Like, this is their place. They're gonna want to load everything up.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
If you're here, I guess you can come along. And if you're not, we're not. If they'll wait, sure. I ain't waiting for you guys.
Are you
Great.
all walking with the?
Thanks, Kim.
I'm gonna
cart, or-
address him work. Make sure he waits.
Make a persuasion check
Yeah.
with advantage.
As you get a new phone.
yeah. As I'm working on it, I'm making another bonnet.
That's the advantage.
Yeah. All right. Persuasion.
Advantage.
Well, that was not good. That's a nat 20.
Hey!
Yeah. So for a total of 24.
You point to Morg and say, like, make sure he waits, and Morg kind of gives like a firm little nod before turning, and he just fully bites like Nick Kill on the shoulder. "Ah! Fine, I'll wait.
Thank you. That's very nice.
Ah, thanks, Kim.
Good job, Morg.
What are you gonna do with you?
Yeah. Slowly.
Getting more shots party.
Forgot how exhausted you guys are.
Ah, you missed us, Armorone, Kim. Do like, get out your hand.
Yeah.
You knew he was hot.
I did know he was hot.
Yeah, you just made a joke
Nice to
about
see
it.
you again, Kim.
Well, we'll be back. We just real quick have something to do
Well, yeah.
Alright.
We'll see you in the morning.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Sure.
Make our way to continue.
Well, that was serendipitous.
Lift with his
wasn't it?
legs.
Whoa, wow,
No,
Kim, huh?
I
I
was-
was just as annoying as ever.
Yeah. Well, actually,
That works out the bonnet.
I missed that guy.
from here, from Yokai to what is it? Port.
Port Kuzushi.
I can't read it.
Kuzushi.
What is the terrain travel? Is it safe?
Is there a road?
Is it
Yeah,
wild?
yeah.
Is it foresty? Or...
You know there is a main road that passes from Yokai down there. You know at least from here that the terrain in that general area is primarily like bamboo forest.
Oh, peaceful. Maybe.
Is it
Unless
like
there's something
dangerous?
big
Is
against
it
the
known to be
bamboo.
like there's bandits on this trail?
No, not particularly.
Bamboo
It's
bandits.
a very like high traffic.
Yeah.
kind of like.
Yeah, me too.
The only thing that they do caution you is any portals to the Fae open up at random if something might
Right.
come through. It's a natural problem here in the Dynasty. But otherwise, you know that it is a primary it's a heavy trafficked road, so
Yeah.
primarily safe.
Is it patrolled by the blast blades and your other security?
You know.
Let me find out.
So let's
Huh?
check out
To the cursory.
Kusuriya.
Yeah, Kusuriya.
Eventually, you get to the Kusuriya.
When we get that, do we do straight in talking? Do we stealth? Do we how do we want to approach? Try to find out what we need. We want to see if we get eyes on a person looking like this person. We don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't a disguise, but we can.
I think we should just go in and ask questions.
Will they
Well, then we're
answer
reading too
just
much.
answer our questions, or do we need to come
Do
up
we
with
need a
a
cover?
I mean,
a story?
I am
or...
a cleric. You know, this is a center of healing. I could just approach under the guise of me wanting to figure out more about the organization here.
Perhaps a dual route where we have a conversation and use that as a distraction for one or two of us to see if we can get in, take a look around without
Sure.
being watched. I'm happy to try that second route. Would anyone want to join?
What's one?
Yeah, I'm sure. I was all sneaky.
Yeah, a little sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could split it, or would you want to go?
Keep control on that electric ship.
Of course.
But, yeah,
Low frequency hum.
maybe a stealth crew and a conversation crew.
Yeah,
Well,
how's that sound? Do you guys
Yeah,
can gather some info?
if you guys are going to be the stealth crew, why don't, and I'll like take the ring off. Basil, why don't you keep this for the stealth mission just in case?
Oh, sweet.
Just the invisible
strip
one again.
to the ring, screw my leg.
Nice.
So.
All right. So you guys go in first, and when you guys have made enough noise, we'll sneak through.
You do see the Kusuriya eventually, an immense pagoda-style building which could easily be mistaken for a shrine or temple of some kind. Pale white walls with rich green roof shingles. Thick ropes kind of like wrap around the building with large wooden like totems and tokens kind of hanging off of it. Protective runes dangling from them, gently swaying in the breeze. The interior is busy, bustling, but in a strict and regimented order. Clerics and healers in soft blue robes calmly and diligently go about their work, to and from. At some point, at least the people that walk in first, a tall, rotund attendant approaches you. His skin is a rich royal blue, completely hairless, and a single bulbous eye in the middle of his face. Before he kind of walks over, bows deeply. Ohoya, Ayamoto, please instruct me to the nature of your injury and ailment.
Oh. I think we're pretty healthy, but
Yeah, we're
he's a cleric.
we're travelers in the area, and I had heard much about your institution, and was wondering if you operated on any, do you have any internships available, or any help that is needed? I would be happy to lend my services.
He's really good at breaking curses. He could share some knowledge if you have clerics that specialize in that. Maybe they could, I don't know, combine their knowledge together.
Mending as well, anything both physical and of the mind as well too.
If you would like to assemble a resume and list of accomplishments of a physical and healing nature, I will deliver that to the hires, and they will ascertain your level of competence to see if you are worthy of employment at the Kusuriya.
Oh, absolutely. I think I have a CV in here somewhere.
I think we were looking. He was looking more for a brainstorming workshop sort of. Or just passing through.
Yes. Well, I would love to see your facilities. I've heard they're legendary.
Yeah, can we take a tour?
Exchanging knowledge and to upkeep
My training. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The hospital in your homeland.
Yes. It would be wonderful to see how you run it here to be able to help improve anywhere I go next.
What an unorthodox but insightful method of learning. Come, I shall present you a tour of the Kusuriya.
Perfect.
Excellent.
If you would follow me, you would awkwardly turn and start to walk off.
Do I know what type of person he might be, like based off of his physical description and
make a nature check.
Okay.
While they're on the inside, are there any windows from anywhere from the exterior, possibly open at all from any?
Yeah, I
Put it all
want
around
to
these,
send Slink in to see if they can find a closet full of the robes that they're all wearing.
Oh, okay.
And I noticed you said blue robes.
Yes.
Okay, and the person was in white. That was.
But I'm thinking if we can grab a
Yeah.
couple of robes, we might be able to just kind
Unless
of sneak
the
around
robe
inside
color
and
signifies
and
different levels.
do a kind of quick 180 of a couple of floors.
But at least that teaches us something.
So if we can find a place, we also then Basil and I try and.
Well, and
So
we
which
do
is
have
for
one of the stones,
Outside
we can always
team,
tell them
give me
pertinent
a
information.
perception check, one with advantage or two.
Want to do the two of us because you're going to do a slink thing?
Because we fully split already. You guys
Yeah,
went off,
yeah,
like,
we-
you're gonna
we
find
walked
your
through
way
the
in.
front gate and they went around the side.
We didn't go in. We're looking at another.
Yeah,
stealthily. Yeah, whatever you like.
Yeah.
If we learn anything that we
Both of
think
us
you'll
perception
need,
to try to find something, and then you'll roll
Yeah,
for,
I'll
on the
use-
inside for the.
I'll send Slink in to see if they can find.
Do I have any good spells prepared for something like this? Is also my thing.
This one right here. Good.
No.
10.
I think.
Oh, I do.
18.
I do have command prepared.
Outside,
I always have
three of you are kind of like the
what's it called?
top team went in, and the three of you kind of made a circle on the outside of the building. The first 3 floors of this building, no windows. The first window that you see is 3 stories up at the like, and the building is a total of 6 stories. It's a pretty tall like kind of pagoda tower, with like a little kind of like shoot off kind of like wings off to the side a little bit. But as you kind of make a circle around the building, the first 30 feet there's no windows or anything, but eventually you do see windows.
Are there places
Give me a frame.
on the side of the
I could
building?
make one.
not
Yeah, and then I jump off it, and I can maybe reach out there, and I drop a rope.
You could
I can
climb
also
up
fly
without being spotted
Or
from
climb
the
up
ground.
there.
Or is it like in the middle of a square or something?
It's kind of in the middle of the. It's pretty
Like
central.
rocket jump.
It's the Cedar Sinai of this place. It's the it's the
I have
big New York Presbyterian Hospital.
The
It's kind of
Beverly Center Mall is right
Not
across the
Beverly
street.
Center.
And if I can add that with a
I
hand
guess
on
I
hop,
want to see
I
if
so
double
hard to
jump
crack
off.
over
Yeah.
here.
Maybe even on the ground floor.
4
see if
turns
you
of light
find
every time.
Janitorial area or the staff area.
Give me a stealth check first.
I feel like
Um,
around there somewhere.
We're just
What do you-
outside of the building right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stomp really hard and cast Monolith under Basil and shoot him up with a pillar of stone so that he can get a look into the building.
And then I'll use hand on hop to double jump off it as soon as he gets it as high as possible. Double jump it and
We
try
are
to
now
get
playing a
onto
platform.
Just check
Platformer.
this building is we're going to be seen if we do that because it's
Sure
it's
are.
in the middle of the square. So that's why I was asking where it was. It's like in.
Oh, I thought we were like
we're not
behind
in,
the building.
in an alleyway.
Okay, then maybe we
You are behind the building. It's just a central building where like it's just there's
360.
busy streets on all sides.
Main streets on all
It's-
sides, yeah.
It's like in the middle of the city hospital. It's not
Okay.
like a
So we should
hospital
be careful about just
stuck in a house.
Well, do you still want to go up? I'll throw you up anyway. We can wait.
Maybe.
It was only
As long as we're learning.
11.
it's using six.
Yes. For Slink, do you send Slink off, or are you in Slink's senses?
I'm going to be in Slink senses and try and kind of guide them in and around the lower area. So where they went in, like just like look for a kind of where the staff are going. It was like follow, sticking next to the wall and trying to be as stealthy as possible.
With an 11, Slink does get through the main lobby area, pass through a couple of doors. You clearly, from looking around, are like, oh, okay, this is like some inner hallways of the healing house. Slink along a couple of walls. At least for the first couple of doctors or clerics that pass by, Slink does a pretty good job of either sinking immediately to the ground or up against the walls, become just a shadow. Eventually, give me an investigation check with your stats, since you are seeing through Slink.
Investigation.
16. At one point, you're kind of like sliding along the ground. You do see like down the hall. There's a hallway ends before going up to the spiral stairs, and you see just the very end of Tem, Nik-Nak, and Harmony being led up on the tour. And you do see that there is a hallway or a door in the hallway that is like slightly ajar, and there is a sign on the door that says janitorial.
All right.
With that 11, though, you get about halfway down the hall towards that door before
Spotted.
clerics. It sounds like, Scat, get out of here! Before casting.
I'll just summon Slink back
Right.
as soon as they.
The last you see is a what do you call it? I forget all the cleric spells. I never played clerics.
Guiding bolt.
Yeah, or no, sacred flame.
Sacred flame.
Coming towards you before you vanish.
Okay, I'll have Slink come back to me, and then I will relay the directions to Basil and say, "There's a bloody thing. Go grab us some janitorial clothes."
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
I'll try it, and I'm just gonna have a very like Lord of the Rings moment with like the ring just and then turn invisible. I also have to roll a d6 for something to happen.
More red caps.
Yeah. One, which I don't think anything happens. One, nothing happens. Hey, so I turn invisible, and then I backtrack or follow Anara's directions as much as possible.
Basil, give me a stealth check with advantage. The three of you.
Yeah, it was an aid nature check to figure out anything I knew about who this kind of person is.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
You at least just because of like the arena and stuff like that, you imagine he's just another race that has come over from
Yeah.
the Feywild.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, certainly not one that you've ever like seen out, and none of you will have seen a creature like this out in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Kind of person.
Wow.
Like kind of like just he's very slow. He has a very the
Two
way he
white
moves
fingers.
is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
The fanful
The one get fluffy.
I mean, it's like, hey guys,
With my 25, I can just sneak on past them.
ooh, 25.
Yeah.
He has a very kind of like that Baymax character where he's just like very slow, short steps. He's very like round, so he takes up a lot of the hallway, and a lot of his like. And to the left here are healing chambers where we have those that have gone under major transformative surgical procedures or magical effects. Take rest in this hall here. To your right, he's just giving you the
The
tour
standard,
the-
the boilerplate tour, yeah. Wow, well, it's fascinating. What state-of-the-art facilities, truly, I've never seen anything like this. Do you happen to have any, if someone is extremely injured or a high-level magical effect on them, who is the most senior in charge here?
There are several chief clerics. It would depend on which deity you wish to seek.
And that tends to be how the departments are divided up, is by
Not
clerical
entirely,
deity.
but plenty of patients either follow a specific deity and wish for their healing methods to be used.
I see.
If they do not have any specific, we have general practices and spells that we will administer.
Is there a specific deity where the clerics wear a white robe? Tem looks so good in white.
Yes, the clerics of the Everlight typically wear white. Clerics of the Dawn Father also typically wear white, although more often than not gold with white accents.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful. I'm sure that...
However, you will not see that here. Standard uniform is, and he kind of gestures to the blue robes that he's wearing.
Yes.
Oh, so there's no clerics of the Everlight in white robes at the Kusuriya?
I suppose if they arrived at the Kusuriya wearing those robes, they would be at the Kusuriya in white robes.
That is...
But they weren't here already.
Yes.
If they were already here wearing white robes, they would also be at the Kusuriya wearing white robes.
He's right.
You can't argue with that logic.
Is there a library here?
Yes, do you have an area of study or research in the building?
Not for non-clerics or staffers.
Oh, well.
Oh.
I mean, just knowing that there's so many books around is enough for me.
And of course, I'm sure that there's, highly sensitive medical data here as well. People and their privacy is very important, I'm sure.
Certainly.
Yes.
To your
Graphic
left is a
pictures.
statue of Cleric Joffrey Satan, and he kind of just continues on. But you're welcome to interrupt her.
And just like hands behind the back. Yes.
I guess as we're walking, I'll just be looking at any other people we might see down hallways and stuff, and to see if we see any other types of robes or white robes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be specifically looking for any sort of like records department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any records room.
Nope.
And what do I find in the janitor closet?
You get, I mean, you're not quite sure why Slink had such a hard time sneaking around, because you're like, this is easy, and you just kind of stroll right in, totally invisible, and get to follow Anara's directions. Actually, give me an intelligence check real quick.
Yeah, checks out.
Sorry, Steven, but you set precedent with
Yep.
Basil and
9.
9. You're like,
He's gonna bring like one robe back.
I
got
got
it.
Laughter, right? Yeah.
You
A
are
mop.
in the Kusuriya, past security,
OSHA picture of standard.
and it's the equivalent of like looking down your hand to see like the map that you drew on your hand, and
It's
the
all
sweat
sweaty.
has completely worn off, and you look around. You know that Anara said, "Oh, at the end of a hallway, and you're right in the middle of a crossroads. There's 4 hallways that go off in different directions, and you have no idea which one.
I'm assuming I followed the directions, and I'm going to open the door that's hopefully at the end of the hall, or like peek open through it. That's at the end.
You're totally in the right place.
Yeah.
You got this.
You never come
Got
to
a
this.
janitor closet door opened onto a hallway with more doors. Is that what happened? Sorry, I was.
No,
It's a crossroads of
Yeah.
hallways.
I took a left.
Houses
right,
can
took a
wander.
But he can't remember which door is.
Hospitals
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
extremely
Yeah.
confusing. You can
Following
easily
Or-
get lost in
That's
hospitals.
true.
Is there any signage that I could read to?
Oh, that's fair. In which case, there are signages, so with advantage.
Okay.
You got this.
Did I read the sign?
Basil, you got this.
Yeah, I read the sign. 17.
Excellent.
There we go. There we go.
So it is that
I
moment.
was at the fork in the road,
Yep.
being like, was it a left or was it a right? Janitor.
Yeah.
And luckily, you do see on the door janitorial before you kind of like slip inside. It's kind of what you expect to find, like mops, buckets, a lot of like jars of what you imagine to be like cleaning solutions, stuff like that. Lots of rags. You do see there is a rack with several like articles of clothing hanging from it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab them. Yeah. Yep. And then how does that work with invisibility? Is it just like a sack of stuff, or just like just
Yeah.
absorbs into my
It's like stuff
invisibility?
on your person
basically.
is also
Okay, so
invisible.
it's my little like cone of invisibility.
Yeah, the way
Yeah.
invisibility will kind of work is if you pick something up, it will look as if something is floating for like a good second before it will become part of the invisibility.
I can't cast attack spells while
You can't cast any spells.
No, you can't cast
any
If
spells.
you cast a
Okay.
spell or attack, you will
Break it.
Yeah.
break invisibility.
If you have like a skill or something that's technically not a spell.
Or a feature.
Yeah, like a
Yeah. Speaking of, can I use my divine sense while in here to see what else could just be like chilling around and see if I can
I
like.
think it's only making an attack or
Yeah.
casting a spell.
Yeah.
They end the conditions unless it's greater invisibility.
So yes, I would love to use my divine sense and see if there's any fun stuff in here that's like undead-y or just weird in that sense.
Magical flying monster.
One of the best items in vanilla D&D.
Yeah, consecrated or desecrated, as well as the hollow spell.
Gotcha.
What has someone been doing
That's
this?
a great
Yeah, there's a lot.
Desecrated this closet.
Okay, so anything celestial, fey, undead, that.
It doesn't say anything fey, just celestial,
Okay.
fiends, and undead.
The only thing that lights up in this closet, there is like a small rack of little like vials that seem to be and are labeled holy water, which give off a faint celestial. Otherwise, there's nothing else from there.
I'll grab a vial or two. How many are there? I guess.
It's like a case of like
Custodial
6.
holy water.
Okay, yeah, I'll grab just like I'll just grab
They
as many
dilute it
just,
in
like,
hot
hold
water
it,
and
like,
it really blesses the place.
We have a vampire to kill.
Yeah.
Sure.
It can't hurt.
This seems important. I
Can't
just
hurt
grab a
us.
couple vials and some robes and a mop and like clothing basically, just to like put it all in.
Basil. Excellent job.
And then on my way back, if I still have advantage. Oh, an 11?
11 stealth check, get back.
Or I guess that was a directions check, but I can make it a specific stealth check. If that's a stealth, and that's a 17.
Great. It's a bit tense for Zakkai and Anara when you're waiting outside. And
He should be back by now, right?
I trust him. Slink God's seen, but he was invisible.
I don't know.
It's gonna be fine.
I think it's gonna be okay.
wasn't paying
He's
close
got the
attention
zappies.
when
Maybe someone heard the zapping. I don't know.
When I was giving him the directions, I saw his eyes just go like, his eyes go blank sometimes, like he's not really paying attention.
Yeah, that doesn't make me
Like
feel
he's
any
thinking of
better.
carrots or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened,
exactly.
so I don't know. He was ready
Gosh,
to
should we go after him?
I
We'll wait just a couple minutes, and then we'll go after him.
Hey guys.
Oh!
Jeez. Basil.
Hey, Basil.
I
Wait.
found this out. What'd you say about carrots?
We were looking for them for you as a reward for doing. Did
Oh,
you get the
So
stuff?
thank you for
I
being the
got
first
all the
one to
stuff.
go
Though.
in.
I go uninvisible and there's like a bunch of like robes and
Whoa,
a mop
whoa, whoa.
and a
What's
bucket.
this?
I got some robes and this bucket
Vials?
and oh yeah.
Water. Oh, I'm so
wait,
thirsty.
No. I these seemed important. I got a nice little buzz from looking at them. I don't know.
What?
There's a label on there. Holy water.
I turned it around. Oh.
Okay, shall we
Don't want that.
up to these roads?
I
and
need
see if
water
we
with
can
holes in it.
Get up onto the higher floors.
That's a good question. Yeah.
The
Should-
janitors can go anywhere in these places.
Yeah, we get dressed and we just scale the wall and then
It was
we
really easy to
crawl
walk
in.
around in there.
Well, maybe
Blend-
just
blend
walk
right
in-
in.
Walk in the front door and go that way.
I think I saw them on.
Is
like,
there
the
was there
third
is there
floor?
some kind of security? Like
there
do
any
they
security in
do they check us on the way in?
Nope.
I'm just a little worried that we might get seen if we're trying to climb the walls right out here. But
I guess that's true. Well, I mean I can hide us a little bit
okay.
by casting pass without choice. There's a bit of shadowing on this side of the wall.
Well, if we
Let's
go
try to
in
go
wearing
to
the
this
blue robes, we're
lobby
not suspicious.
So we'll look on the lobby area and then
Okay,
when
alright.
people are distracted, we'll just kind of slip through a door, put on the cloaks, and then start wandering around.
Works for me.
Maybe we'll run into the others.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what they were doing in there?
I heard them talking to some guy for a long time.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Asking
to
you
your
out loud.
left, we have operating theaters for young clerical students to witness certain extractions of spirits, excommunications. Well, no, not excommunications. Exorcisms. There were other ones.
Hopefully, no excommunications.
And
This
just
is
like
a church after all.
Cleric humor.
Yes, we are known for being extremely humorous.
Yes.
Shall we?
Let's
That is what they
please
all say.
continue the tour.
Well,
Yes. Tem slowly starts matching the pacing of his like words. It's just being like mirroring him.
And like as
You're
he
getting
kind of
slower.
turns
Yeah.
away and isn't facing me, I'll just we need to find some sort of maybe like either an office with papers that we can try to read maybe, or someone in a white robe. Do you think you could just kind of scamper off and find one of those two things, and then if you find it, just remember where it is and come back and tell us?
Piccolo will scamper. Piccolo will find.
Okay. Yeah.
This place smells foul.
What do you mean?
It
Like something
smells
bad's going
celestial.
on? Oh. Yeah, it's
like
a very, very sterile, astringent environment.
We should not be here.
We're going to leave as soon as we can. We just need to see if someone who was at the school was sent from here or not. So that's why we need some sort of papers, or if there are other people in a white robe that we can talk to.
White robe papers.
Yes.
I will find. I will scamper.
Thank you. Okay. Don't set the papers on fire.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Very well. He kind of like turns, and as he's turning, he like starts to go invisible, but like this, every single time as he goes invisible, it's kind of like trails off, and he gets a little Piccolo kind of trail as he vanishes.
And then like as
A
he's-
big old elephant wink from Tem back to Harmony.
And Nick, make a perception check real quick because I know you're keeping an eye out for records.
We'll see if he finds anything. They might not be the papers we need, but I'm not sure what else to tell him. I don't think there's that many papers in hell.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like
Four.
his favorite
Just
place.
find any bit of paper. I found it.
I found a paper.
Here's another bit of paper.
It's
More papers.
It's just a little bit frustrating
Roll
for
open.
you, Nik-Nak,
Yeah.
only because a lot of the doors are closed, and every single like piece of signage is a good like 6 feet higher than you are. So you like the ankles are hard to read. A lot of them are in Sylvan. At least you're not seeing anything you're keeping an eye out for.
Fair enough.
But Boto keeps.
Yeah, as Boto keeps going, like,
Hello, Boto.
do we see any other robe colors beyond just the blue ones? Like, as we're walking around and people are shuffling about, like, you know, who, as we're especially getting up, I would say to like the higher levels if we're going upwards in the building.
You do see eventually as you're kind of like moving around and walking through the space, you do see that the uniform isn't like universal. It's primarily like attendants and nurses are wearing these blue robes. You do see a couple very clearly higher level, and you would recognize as higher level clerics, if only because of the ornamentation.
Sure.
Some of them carry like stabs with
yeah.
emblems of their holy symbols on them.
Not as nice as my robe, but it's
Certainly.
nice.
But you do see like a couple. There's you see someone with red robes that has a large like, anvil on the back. You do see 1 or 2 white robes with golds, kind of like
Trim.
trim and like those kind of like long scarves. That's I only know that people that,
Regalia of
Yeah,
some
yeah.
kind, yeah.
a couple of them, not a lot of them, and they all seem to have a symbol on the back, which is a kind of golden goblet with a red bird kind of coming out of it.
Okay.
And the descriptions we had before was like, no one mentioned a symbol on the back of the person's robe.
No. It was the all white was the Everlight, and then the gold was the Dawnfather. Okay. Yeah. Well, what a fascinating and well organized institution you have here. I'm truly impressed. I wish that my my house of healing at home was this extensive. Truly.
I am not responsible for the organizational tactics used here. However, I will pass your compliments on to my superior.
Oh, and who would that be? Your superior?
My direct superior. My list of employees. Kusuriya.
Is there like a phone tree? And just like extension 321 is gonna be put me through over there.
For us?
Yeah.
Oh, right. For all of us.
Bill Clay.
No, except that there are buildings all around us.
My superior is head cleric Liko, who is a cleric of the Wild.
Oh, wonderful. I'm
Specializing in naturalistic healing using herbs, simple druidic spells. Do you have an ailment or condition that is in need of treatment?
Well, we are looking for somebody to maybe help break curses. My granny. There's just really something wrong with her. And I mean, she's back home because she's
Tem starts like pinching himself to well up some tears. A little bit.
she's
so
just
sad.
so frail that she can't travel. So I'm trying to find the best cleric in the land that can possibly come to her bedside and help see what someone must have cursed her. I've only just graduated. I can tell that it's there, but I can't do anything to remove it from her.
It is not strange or uncommon for clerics to make house calls. If you would like, we can certainly dispense a cleric to your grandmother's home in hopes of rectifying this curse.
Would you happen to have a list of the directory of clerics on site that we might choose one from?
Yes.
Certainly. If you're following.
See if it's in network.
Okay.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
do we have to get pre-authorization? What do we have to?
I will bring you the appropriate forms once the tour is complete.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
This crown molding is actually inspired by the outside team. Are you inside now?
We're inside now.
Inside now?
Yeah.
Yes. I think we wanted to go
Outside,
inside.
inside.
Through the front
Yeah,
door of
around
the Kusuriya come 3 janitorial staff members.
Well, yeah, no, I think we're just scoping it out and then try and find a
I grab the
where we
mop
can-
and just start
where we
randomly
can just
sweeping
kind of
away
like
the
when no one's watching,
floors.
just
And just completely dry.
Yeah.
Like,
and,
Just sweep it away.
away.
Okay.
Looking for some stairs, but I think up.
Man, this wall is so
Yeah.
dirty.
Just got this-
Well, let me help with that. Just take the
Gonna
mop
go
to the
in.
wall.
Good. That's a good
Important
cleaning.
stuff is always on the top floor.
Top floor. Okay.
So we're gonna head.
And all this
High up.
inconspicuously while with pass the trace on, is
Yes.
that right?
Yes. I will cast Pass Without Trace on all.
I was about to ask.
Don't be suspicious.
I'll make
Don't
stealth checks,
be
not to
invisible.
like go by unseen per se, but to sort of to pass for employees. Stealth checks.
To pass without trace of employees.
Is it 24 plus 10 plus without trace? 34.
34. Anara has worked here her whole life.
Yeah.
Can't beat that. Only a 30.
29.
It's only because, even still, in the disguise, Zakkai still refuses to wear shoes.
And also,
in a hospital.
I'm also unbuttoned down to like here.
It's unbuttoned, but and you haven't tied it from the bottom.
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
You're like a soap opera doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zakkai is trying to be the McSteamy of
Yes.
the-
Yeah.
Success.
Yeah, so I think we're also gonna try and get up to the higher levels and then just try and get. I think just explore,
Yeah.
look for people in white robes, look for any officers.
With those stealth checks, the
Anyone
Kusuriya
that's-
and with what you're wearing is sort of your oyster. So
Yeah.
I think we should also be looking for anyone who seems to be under similar effect to Veyran, who seems to be kind of like under some other influence.
Yeah.
Who might,
And
if
then-
we hear the word immortality ever,
Obviously,
we'll want to
looking out
snap
for
to
a
it.
bold woman in a white robe. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, it's like I guess
we don't know for sure that that's what she
people
looks like,
in
but
here,
hey,
so,
we're gonna look just in case. Maybe we see her.
Um,
Maybe we see someone who looks like her.
And I guess if there's anything of like, what would be a list of like ward names, and I would just pick whatever's like the most confusing one and just like wander down it, and like not understanding what it is.
Or we can split up
Sick.
and then join back up again and do different.
Yeah, split up and look for clues.
Sure.
And like meet back in like 15 minutes after we do a tour of
A
of the
sweep.
floor. Yeah.
And then just start running a direction with the
Zakkai's
broom.
I'm doing terrible.
Buttons.
What?
Buttons. You look.
Buttons.
Your disguises.
I don't. Anyway. Basil told me about buttons. We gotta focus on the mission.
Basil,
Just
the
sing her cleric of
first.
the wild mother.
Yeah, that's right.
Basil,
Oh,
you're
no. You're broken.
found the ward with the strangest name.
Yep.
And you're kind of like heading down there. This hallway is particularly unoccupied. It looks to be a ward that is not seen a lot of use. However, you do hear, like from a couple, there's a few different rooms, clearly like either hospital rooms, attendant rooms where patients are being kept. You do hear strange kind of like warbling noises coming from like a couple different ones.
Can I do divine or not divine sense? Detect magic and see if it's in like I see something in that direction where that warblings go, and just start to slowly creep towards it.
You detect magic, and it's like putting on a pair of like glasses that amplify everything because the building itself lights up a little bit. There's certainly like a fair amount of protective wards placed on the building itself. As for kind of these two rooms, you do get two very powerful senses of magic coming from two different patient rooms down into the hall.
I would like to peek into the rightmost door.
Give me a perception. With advantage, you work there.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be here. Perception, you said? That would be a 20, 30.
You peek into this first room and you see that there's it looks sort of like, not exact, it looks more like a very comfortable cell as opposed to a like room for a patient. But you notice there's no like locks or anything on the room, but it does look very like bare bones. A lot of stuff has been removed from the walls, floors, not a lot of art or anything. It's just simple kind of like bed, bedside table, small like latrine. That's about it. But someone you see is sitting on the bed reading a book, and there's a couple pages, and then they sort of like react, and they like their body twitches and almost kind of fizzles out of existence before they vanish and the book drops onto the bed. A couple moments later, they appear on the other end of the room, and they kind of look around, look back towards the bed, kind of huff like frustrated, walk back towards the bed, pick up the book, and then they kind of turn back a few pages, and then continue reading. And like maybe, depending on how long you kind of watch, 40 seconds or so after that, they again wince and kind of like twitch, and their whole body kind of fizzles, and they vanish. The book drops here. Another couple seconds later, they appear at a different corner of the room. Before looking around, frustrated, walk over.
Is
the book.
Is it timed about like how long it takes them to fizzle out to back in?
It's at least a couple times that you see seems pretty erratic.
Seems pretty erratic. Can I, in that time that he blinks out, try to hand-on hop dash to grab the book? As it like, so he like drops, fizzles out, try to dash, grab the book, and then dash back out the room. Just try to like, ha ha! Just a quick in out.
Yeah. No roll required. It's enough time that you can like, and as you go in, you grab the door without even thinking of it. It opens. It's not being held inside. You open the door, run over, grab the book, run out, close the door. A couple seconds later, he kind of appears closer. Like he appears now, back to you, but like standing at the latrine and like looks around real quick, adjusts themselves before closing up, looking around. I don't see the book anywhere, and they sort of like start thinking. Maybe was I reading yesterday or tomorrow?
Just slowly creeping close the door. Just walk away today. What's he reading? Or just like look at like the cover of the book, not like actually like open it up and read it. Just being like curious and just start continuously like walking around, wandering around, just like seeing where this like magical weave is taking me with my detect magic, and kind of just like getting lost in it all.
Absolutely. Zakkai and Anara, where are you looking for anything specific? Going anywhere?
Just what we
trying to look. I'm trying to look at people.
Look at people?
Look at not particularly rogues, but anyone who has the appearance
that matches the
yeah. So I've still got this hope that this is actually someone who was here.
Yeah. Give me a perception check.
I'm doing the same.
Perception.
Here for the mission. I don't see shit. I don't that one.
Not one.
17.
While you're kind of like cleaning and like just inconspicuously trying to like fake clean around the
smack
Kusuriya.
cleric. Oh, sorry.
At one point you're like again looking around again maybe 2 minutes after you departed from Anara and Basil. You're walking around before the single most attractive cleric you've ever seen walks out of
It's
one.
Tem.
Wow.
Hubba hubba.
And for whatever reason, perhaps they have some sort of like nymph-y fey heritage or whatnot. You're not quite sure, but either way, their beauty is entrancing, and you immediately like eyes follow them, and you end up following them around hallways for a couple of minutes before actually doing anything.
So it was 22.
22.
I used a channel memory of a former hex.
Gotcha.
Just to improve my roll there.
As you're looking around, you do a pretty thorough sweep of any of the floors that you kind of go through. At one point, you do kind of like get excited. You see like the smooth, like reflective light coming off of a chrome dome, bald head. You turn around, it's a man with a long, thick beard. Turns out to be like a dwarf that kind of stands up, and you're like, oh, he's very much smaller than I expected. No one that you see matches that description. Everyone that you do see is acting more or less definitely like they belong here.
Right. I guess I'm also gonna see if I can find any. Are there any places where it looks like there's a kind of pictures of staff, like portraits or anything like that?
Give me an investigation check.
19.
I'll remember that. Talk team.
Yes, we are a little bit short on time, so if we could maybe see, it's been a wonderful tour. You've been so thorough, but just to see that
We do
directory.
have 3 more floors.
I was really hoping that maybe for the rest of the afternoon you would let us maybe customize this tour, and I'll cast suggestion.
It's a wisdom.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save. 15.
That just saves.
I'm not sure what you mean by that question.
What are on the 3 remaining floors?
Let's see. On the top floor, I'll only be able to give you a minor look. It is primarily for chief medical staff and clerical attendants.
Of course.
The second to highest floor is our galley and kitchen area, if you would like a healthy snack.
Oh, that would be
The
nice.
third floor is primarily for wards of those to recuperate after healing services have been completed.
I don't think that person's gonna be okay.
It's a loud crash from inside one of the rooms.
It's Basil.
I
Bopping around.
actually have a question. Just out of curiosity, I had a cousin once who got his leg twisted all the way around, and there was a cleric that came to town. Remember
Yeah.
Jerry? Remember Jerry?
I love Jerry.
Yeah, his leg. Anyway,
It was horrible.
the cleric came and tried to fix it, but he just turned it the other way, like 360. It was very bad.
He was not it was a mess.
It was a twisting nightmare. Just twisting everywhere. And I'm curious
This cleric sounds incredibly underqualified.
and irresponsible, which is leading to my question, how do you handle instances of like malpractice?
Well, there would certainly have to be any accusation would be taken quite seriously by any head clerics. There would be an investigation, certainly, into such actions.
Who
and
investigates that?
disciplinary action, I'm sure, will be taken.
Yeah, who investigates? And
Do you
have you had any instances?
Clerical investigators specifically, or?
We have certain clerics in the Kusuriya that do more thorough investigatory work. However, any legal matters will be turned over to the Glassblade authorities.
Have you had any recent instances of such allegations?
No. It is incredibly rare for the Kusuriya to provide unsatisfactory service.
Do they also assist when issues arise at Prismari?
We rarely get requests from the Arcane College. However, we have in the past for serious injuries or urgent matters. Those are very few and far in between.
How far between?
Not recently, then, I assume. I was just a student there last year. I mean, I just graduated, but no, I don't think any special clerics
No,
came to the school.
We have not dispatched a cleric to the Prismari College in quite some time, many months. Probably,
Well, I'm-
most likely over a year.
I'm
17
sure
months.
they have people in their own clerical programs that are able
Oh,
to
yes.
assist, right? Yes.
And there's clerical professors and professors of healing.
If you are still seeking an internship,
You know,
Prismari
that is a
clerical
great
courses.
suggestion. Thank you very much for that. I
We
think,
could even go back to Prismari right now.
yeah, that's a wonderful lead. Thank you for this wonderful tour. I really do appreciate the insight into this storied institution.
I am
Many stories, many stories that you had.
I am happy to provide that simple dose of common sense.
It's much needed these days.
Yes, too many folk without it.
Evidently.
We'll be back for a healthy snack next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds wonderful.
And I would recommend any of the eateries out in the city. The food at the commissary is primarily for residents, patients, staffers, and the like. Also, the food is not as good as at an eatery out in the city.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Honest.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Otto, this has been a very enlightening tour.
I am happy to oblige. Allow me to escort you back to the main entrance, and I will provide you with the paperwork required to assist your ailing grandmother.
Thank
Which,
you.
once again, you have my sincerest
Oh.
outreach of both, well, not condolences yet. We won't.
No,
We hope, but
not
hope not.
yet.
Hope
Yeah, not yet. She's still kicking. That's kind of the problem. It's a little too hard sometimes. But
Come with me.
yeah, that
She's
list of
attacking
clerics.
people.
Yeah.
She just hits people with her shoes all the time.
Knock it off.
I will wait, Anara, you do see a cleric leading Tem, Harmony, and Nik-Nak kind of down.
Just terribly bored looks on all three of their faces.
You all see Anara in a janitor's outfit. Just like weirdly, just kind of sweeping
Trying
it
to
in.
get into important officers.
I'll just give out like a sharp whistle for Piccolo to come back.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so like an office, a records office or something.
Oh, wait, yours was a 19 to
22.
22. You do at one point see, you kind of like peek into a room and see a wall with a lot of like portraits and images on it. So you sort of like dip in. You belong here, especially with that stealth check. You can go anywhere.
Yeah. Cleaning.
You walk in and you see it is a sort of like, basically like resident or cleric attendance, like rest area, room for doctors or people on call to be waiting to take a rest while patients recover. Yes, the staff lounge. Yeah. And you do see on the wall a lot of like portraits of various clerics and stuff like that, both past and present, that may still be here, may not. You do see little dates underneath them. Too short to clearly be like lifespans that may be like residencies here or whatnot. But you do see a wall with a lot of different portraits. You don't see a single one of a bald woman in white robes.
Okay. Guess we drew a blank.
Basil,
Yes.
you still skulking around that hall? Or are you going somewhere else?
I am going to. I probably got lost as I'm just like flipping through the book and just like following any form of high magical.
As you're flipping
outputs
through
of
it,
the
it's a trashy romance novel.
Nice. I guess I just like flip through it, and then if it's like of no interest to me, I will just straight up like toss it. Or what's the title of it? I suppose.
It's a great question.
Nice. Got him.
Most important thing.
We're on the edge of our seats.
Yeah. Give me some book titles.
Make out paradise from Naruto.
Yeah.
The title of the book is
Careful.
A lustier.
I will. Yeah, I'll just keep kind of flipping through it.
Ha ha ha.
Basically, I'm gonna get a sense of if I think Zakkai would like the title or not, and then if I don't think it's good enough, I will just toss it over my shoulder.
It was called Take Me There.
Oh,
Where's there?
we're on our way.
Yeah, I'll just like flip like the book over if it has like any illustrations. I'll just like toss it behind me and just keep on walking through, just kind of like getting lost and almost like probably bumping into like random walls, like assuming it's like a like magical like portal through like whatever vision I have, and then just keep meandering through hallways, trying to see if I can find these two now.
I think the last thing I want to try is to go to the very top floor, if I can get up to the very top floor, and look for officers or.
As you, again, getting up to the top floor is no problem for you. Up there is kind of what you expect. There is a sort of like landing, main kind of like antechamber kind of at the top floor that does break off into several offices. It seem to be private, like chambers for like chief clerical members.
Do they look like they're occupied?
A couple of them are. You see that there just seem to be. They're also very small. There's individual offices up here. That you also see sort of in alcoves in the walls, smaller shrines to various deities and whatnot. And you see that like some of them have offerings, incense, candles lit, and there's several different offices. I'll say a good 8 different offices up here. 4 of them have light coming from underneath the doors. 4 of them don't.
I want to see if I can find anything that looks like records or with documents.
Okay. Give me an investigation real quick.
2.
Look around. Not a single document to be seen.
I would at some point too, like once this guy has led us to the lobby and left, I would just take our sending stone and so we did just find out that
Do I have it now?
Yeah,
You probably
you
have
had
it
it.
Phone going off in the movie theater.
I'm on the top floor in the offices. We just
You see one of the clerks who was meditating.
Yeah, sorry.
We just found out that the hospital hasn't sent anybody to Prismari in like years, a long time, years and years. So it was definitely a fraud from the beginning. Oh yeah, this guy was just...
He would never tell a lie in his entire
doesn't
life.
even know what lying is.
Yeah.
He just was telling us anything in the most horrible, draining way possible.
Well, that's, even if they did send someone, there's literally no documents here at all. So
I think
I just looked. There's none.
yeah,
They don't have records here.
oh, that's...
They don't keep records, apparently.
Maybe,
Because I would have found them.
maybe it's like a spiritual, clerical thing, and
Yeah, okay.
It's all verbal.
I'll see if I can, we kind of split up, which wasn't a good idea. I'll see if I can find Zakkai and Basil.
Okay,
And,
I'll see if maybe Piccolo can track any of them down. We'll just meet out front.
Zakkai was like really into the cleaning. I think he was really, really enjoying himself. So
Oh,
we
he's
may
a strange guy sometimes.
I'm just craning
I
looking at
couldn't
whoever this
figure
hot
out.
person
I can't
was.
figure him out sometimes.
I will ask. So as Odo gets us the information about maybe I don't know where he's pulling from this like list of like the on-call clerics or whatever. If it's from like a big book or other things like that, because we know it was like OW were the initials, right? Is he pulling from like a larger thing, or is it its own self-contained? Like these are the on-call people.
He has you wait in the lobby while he fetches the list, and he will bring it back.
Okay, I want to be able to try.
You want to
I
read
know.
it?
Well, I want to. If it's a larger directory, I might have a way to quickly try and find anyone under OW.
I don't think they're related to the hospital at all.
Yeah.
I think they just walked in and lied.
Okay, so I'll wait until he comes back then.
Then she does return with us like neat little stack of like parchment. This is the required paperwork you will need to complete in order to have a cleric dispatched to your location.
Are we in like the front lobby area again now? Is there like a front desk, or it's just kind of open?
There's a front desk.
Okay.
Like a primary place for you to check in, or like an information desk.
No like open ledger of like visitors or anything like that is on there.
How hospitally is it?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, is there a sign-in sheet? Is there a directory? Is there anything like that? Right?
Yeah.
Suggestions box.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll take these to Gran, and I'll have her maybe pick which one seems the best, since I don't want her throwing her shoes at someone just because she doesn't like their name. So you know how it is sometimes.
Certainly. The geriatric can be difficult patients.
That's definitely true. Well, Thank you so much for your
We've
help.
certainly never met anyone like you before, Odo, so thank you for the wonderful tour.
Such a tour.
Yeah.
You are quite welcome. It has been an honor and a privilege to present the Kusuriya to newcomers.
Goodbye.
He just stands there waiting for you to leave.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, he just stands there.
Walk out the door.
Yeah. Well, they should be coming outside.
Okay,
I
good.
told
Thank you.
Anara that.
I wonder what kind of person he is. I was trying the whole time to figure it out. I've never seen anyone like him.
I don't think I have either. He must be from the Fae.
No. Let me see those papers. I'll like.
Is there any like letterhead or anything
Yeah.
on the papers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's like the standard like kind of. There's a like a seal and everything on it.
Could come in handy.
Yeah. Who knows?
Eventually, Anara, as you're kind of like making your way back down, you do see Zakkai like craning his neck into one of the rooms as he's just like absentminded. He's clearly trying to sweep. The broom is not touching the floor.
I'll kind of head up to
Use the
him and
wrong
like
side.
yeah, stand up next to
Upside
him
down.
and then like look round his shoulder and see what he's looking at.
It's an incredibly attractive cleric, kind of standing over the Kenku patient who seems to have like laryngitis of some kind.
Aw.
He's kind of squawking like, and it's just kind of like again having them speak before kind of like jotting down notes and like
She's got hair. But
What? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sorry.
this is not the person,
Have you
but-
been here the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I was.
Did you see Basil anywhere?
No. He ran off.
I've been
Let's
up
go.
to the offices of the top. There's no records. I've looked at the staff, the room. I don't see anyone who matches the description. I'm beginning to think the others were right.
I haven't seen it either.
No one here matching the description. So
Okay. Let's grab Basil and get out of here.
he probably found something.
Yeah, he probably did.
We'll head back down, and on the way look for Basil. So we can
At one point
scoop
you
them up.
almost trip on something, and for some reason there's a dirty romance novel just left in the middle of the hallway.
What's that?
What's it called?
It's called Take Me There.
Take Me There.
I
was like,
"Oh,
I forgot.
Like, oh, yeah, okay. No, Zakkai probably like this.
What?
What do you think? So your kind of thing?
I open it. Are there pictures?
There's like a handful of illustrations.
I start reading this part's good. This
Don't
part's good.
determine how many things you're doing multiple.
I just shove it in my bag. I toss the book.
Somewhere out there, Tem and Harmony both like
I
feel a small
feel
pain.
really strange.
Me too.
I sent a disturbance.
Yeah, disturbance.
Thanks, Anara.
But
I guess we'll head out.
yeah. I'll say eventually you do catch sight of Basil wandering a hallway.
Basil, hey.
Oh, hey.
You might not have recognized us in our disguises.
Yeah.
Said very
Well,
loudly.
I see your. Are we
don't
done?
even ask. Let's go. Maybe the others found something.
Did you guys find anything?
Nothing.
Really hot
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. Nothing to do with the investigation. Let's see.
So like a kiln person or like a.
No.
Okay.
You have a lot to learn. Man.
Okay. Okay.
How many
Let's
told
get out of
me a
here.
little while ago?
You ever
but I
talked
think
about the
that
birds
maybe
and the bees?
We should go join them downstairs.
I know about birds and bees.
Good.
Okay.
Excellent. Let's go find the others.
We'll head downstairs. Find a spot to drop the janitorial stuff off and make our way out.
Sure. At one point, some cleric just sees a bunch of janitorial clothing and items left behind in a corner. But it's not too difficult to find the rest of each other. So you're out back outside of the Kusuriya.
Well, we tried. Didn't really find anyone matching the description. Or
Yeah.
records.
Yeah,
I'm-
no one there.
They haven't officially sent anybody to Prismari in years, so
To me,
Wait, what does that mean then?
well, to me it means that they're
This
this person
confirming
is
that they
not.
weren't related.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imposter as well.
And
She must
No-
have known what was happening and faked her way in.
I think there was some sort of magic happening of a memory modifying sort, maybe on multiple people, and
Well, we know
Yeah.
that the headmaster was unable to remember names.
Yeah, she must have been
But she
casting things all over.
She must have been very powerful to be able to do all of this at a scale that many people were fooled.
That's
I guess heading to the port and
Well, it's good to check off that box.
Yes.
It's definitely, we didn't miss anything.
If you ever want a very thorough tour, our friend Odo can definitely help you out with that.
You don't.
I think you're better off sneaking in and dressing like a janitor to just look around.
well,
That's
Yeah.
a really smart idea.
Yeah, we did that, and it was actually really
a
fast
lot
and easy.
cleaner than
so-
it was before. I tell you, I mean, it was filthy up there.
Strange.
It's true.
Well,
We did not make it much better.
I wonder if maybe wherever Kiln is now for the night, maybe we can crash with him so we can get an early start with his friends.
Are we going to take these?
I mean, we can.
Are we going to
find
take these
somewhere else.
hedgehog
Let's
people
just
off
find
to
some-
the middle of the ocean?
Somewhere else.
No, we'll
Oh,
just
we're
follow
just
them
walking-
to the port.
Yeah.
We'll just
Oh,
caravan
fine,
with
fine.
them.
I thought we wanted to get onto one of their ships.
No,
It's a
caravan.
I think they're just headed to the port
Oh.
to sell their goods.
Oh, I
And
see.
from there, we'll figure out our next
They're
steps.
probably gonna have a trade ship of some sort, and
Yes.
we can probably find something sleeker and
Yeah.
faster
Yeah.
to
Got it.
Find
Yeah.
a passage. Yeah. So
Like I said, I might
keep a smaller crew.
be able to utilize some connections if we're in a port town, especially since we're so close to my home.
That would be
Can your
good.
guys make us a boat? How long would it take to make a boat?
I mean, they could probably, they definitely could make a boat, but to
Wait, we need more metal though.
yeah,
Dang it.
and to haul production just to make
That's
a boat.
true. We can't stop at this time.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like Tem might be able to help us anyway. So how about we get there and then figure it out?
I'm not making any promises, but at least there might
but
be
this
some
doesn't
leads.
involve like exerting the power of your evil family.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's for the
Well,
purposes of it's for a good reason.
that's true.
Well, no, I'm not bothered by it, but you seem rather troubled by it.
If it is to further a cause that is good and true, and also taking resources, maybe,
Like
for the greater good. Oh, I hate that I use that phrase.
it's like taking, you're just taking from the rich to give to the poor.
Second law.
You know,
Sure.
there's stories like that going
You know,
back centuries.
if I don't think about it too deeply, I think we'll be okay.
Well, it's not. We don't have to fly their flag. We can just.
No, it would simply be me, most likely showing off a signet and maybe talking to the right people.
Hey,
Well,
I think as
If
long
it
as
makes
it's
you feel
helping
any
us.
better, I think they would hate that. So.
Yeah, and if you want, you can get like a really expensive ship.
Yes, well,
hit
we'll
'em
we'll
where-
see.
Hit them where it hurts.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves because we may end up having to figure another solution out. But there's at least a lead to go off of if we get into a port.
Okay, so can we leave the Southern Dynasty now?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get some sleep.
Yeah.
Let's,
Bright and early.
let's set up the crate.
Yeah, we can set up the crate and then meet up with Kiln in the morning.
So, still in the city, and you kind of head back. Because you had a big empty space for the crate in the grounds
Right.
around Prismar, but
Let's
you
do it
head
there
back
again.
there where you
Does it need?
I think that's
a
probably
big
on the
big
other
space?
side of the city that we walked quite a bit ways through.
I feel like we should put it outside the city so we can catch them as they're leaving
Yeah.
in the
Okay,
morning,
yeah.
rather than
Do we
like.
get a sense of which gate they would leave through?
Yeah, the road
head
to the port.
or
I'll say,
Shari?
especially if you agree to like go with Kill and stuff, he'll have reluctantly given you the information as to
Okay.
like, where they're.
Yeah, wait for us at this gate. We'll be
Yes,
there in the morning.
Gate 15's out.
Yeah.
Set up camp.
But I think what you were saying is let's go out of the city, set it up.
Yeah. I just don't see because we met him like towards the
Well, and we know
port
they'll be taking a main
way.
road.
Yeah,
exactly.
right, exactly. The gate that will be.
It
they'll
feels
be
like
headed out.
backtracking too far to then catch up and then move.
So as long as we know which way they're headed, we'll set up.
And it'll
along the way.
be fun because he'll probably think that we're not coming with him, and then
We can surprise him.
little does he know, here we are.
Without
Oh, we wouldn't disappoint Mork like that. You know.
That'll be a great trick.
Yeah, we gotta show up on time.
As you depart from the Kusuriya and head out towards the city, you still got to travel the city. You have D6 roll for me, please.
Really?
Uh,
4.
Walking through the city, again, big, massive city. At one point, you do pass through one of the districts that has, it's called the Silver Ribbon District. So called because there is a very pretty, like, little, kind of almost like Venice channel that kind of winds through the district. Lots of little shops and stuff on either side of it. Paper lanterns hanging from shop fronts and everything. while you're heading through here, making your way towards the city gates, Basil,
Yes.
you get a tingling between your ears as your attention is suddenly pulled. Because now, thanks to your new feet, you're aware of portals when they're in close proximity to you.
My whiskers are like tingling, and I'm just like,
About 15 feet in the air above that channel of water, almost as if like a lightning bolt crashes to the sky, but doesn't go away. It stays there. Like, crack kind of rips through the air, and slowly starts to pull apart and part ways as one of the random portals from Feywild has opened.
In the middle of the city?
Middle of the city.
Oh.
Heavens. All over the place.
Oh.
All the time. And
This is usually not good, right?
people.
do you guys see that too?
People.
I'll
all
take
around
out my
the
notebook and I'm like trying to.
People up and down the street and on down the channel immediately turn and look because, like you said, these are 50-50 shots. Sometimes it's refugees from the Feywild, sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it's a big monstrous creature. This time, big monstrous creature.
Oh no!
As the portal flashes and then instantly
How
closes
big
right behind it. But
How
you
monstrous.
see almost like it looks like a giant, just spherical kind of, not spherical, but like round object with a ring of spikes along it, kind of come rolling out, reminiscent of Sledgehog, but much bigger. A good maybe like 10 feet from end to end, as it sort of like spirals out, crashes into the river, and just sort of like sits there. Everyone's sort of like peering in, all the bystanders looking and making sure what it is. It's halfway submerged in the river. This large like dome of like spikes and pull a bunch of maroon tentacles start reaching out from the water and snatching up people on the street. And that's what we pick up.
Oh, yes, the bystanders.
Oh no! Oh no!
Well, nothing to see here. No.
Well, it's gonna see just how well the second law stand up against two. This little guy.
Oh!
Make sure to come back next week for that. Thanks for joining us here at Terragia, everybody.
Oh!
We're gonna make sure to come back next week for whatever combat this is and finding out where the second law head to
But we're going to
next.
talk to it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need a
Felix.
peaceful
Explain how
resolution.
you got here.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
persuasion check to get out of this.
We may have been
I'll do
neighbors. Thanks for joining us, you guys. Until next time, take the hospital tour.
It was
Very educational.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Sneak
Enlighten-
in wearing a
enlighten.
disguise is way better.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Wow.